unmute himself as one of.
Please just ask him to unmute himself. He may not know that he's a co-host.
All right, I'm sure they're still having issues with network. Still waiting to hear from them. Let's move into today's agenda of the highlights of the program for today. Let's quickly look at what we have for today.
Sorry, I think the NMC registrar is here.
Okay, so you can write them. Good evening, sir. Okay, I'm sure you're still trying to connect with us. Okay, let's quickly take a view of today's agenda. We'll be having a discussion about the image of nursing. Can the media come to rescue? And we'll be having our speaker, Sandy Sommer, a registered nurse from USA, the founder of The Truth About Nursing, and Chinelo Ofoma, founder of Nurses on Purpose. And we also have a view about West African College of Nursing from Mohammed Yakutun, from the Executive Secretary of West African College of Nursing. The moderator for today, we have Ojonola Dada, a member of the Board of Trustees, Inspired Nurses Network Africa. That's what we have for today. And at the end of it all, we're having response to guest speakers and interactive section, which will be coordinated by Dr. Margaret Akpan. My name is Sirimen Olabia Deji Gabriel. And permit me to welcome Professor Samson Akpan from West African College of Nursing for the opening speech. Professor Samson Akpan. I'm trying to see if he's on board yet. Professor Akpan, can you? Okay. Okay, I think Alhaji Farouk Abaka is on board now. Welcome on board, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Adeole. How are you?
Fine, sir. Good to hear from you finally today. I'm sure the network couldn't allow you to join us yesterday.
Exactly. I have serious challenges yesterday, so I want to apologize to all members of the WACN for my inability to join you yesterday.
All right, welcome on board, sir. The floor is open for you for your goodwill message and the speech, sir.
All right. Okay, distinguished fellow, good evening. First and foremost, let me apologize for my inability to join you yesterday. It's attributed to network problems. Thank God that today I was able to link with you and also to tell you that I was not with you yesterday physically, but I'm with you as in mind or spiritually. And I wish to thank the organizers of this very important workshop for our dear professional nurses for the entire sub-region. I want to acknowledge the good working relationship existed between the WACN Nigeria, WACN and the National Medical Council. We have been working closely. We have been supporting each other with the numerous laudable educational programs, which the Council graciously considered and granted 3 credit units. And participants of all the programs of WACN have been Uh, the certification has been recognized by National Military Council for the renewal of their practicing licensing. And I also want to believe the members of profession that participated in numerous WACN programs have been making a positive impact in all our clinical area and educational institutions across the country. I wish to inform you that National Military Council remain committed in maintaining standard of National Military Council in Nigeria. We have been doing a lot in terms of education and all other related statutory responsibility as outlined in our act that established the National Military Council. I also wish to inform, despite the pandemic uh, era we are, National Military Council have been participating actively in a number of educational programs. Presently, I wish to inform you that National Military Council partners with the WACA in collaboration with ICN, where we register all Nigerian nurses to participate in the online CPD, which will also acknowledge and recognize for the renewal of their licensing. Uh, Presently, the management accepted the CPD from the WACA as one of the, because it's now accepted as 3 credit unit. Presently, we recognize it in renewing our practice license during this period. Other online activities are also ongoing. I wish to inform you that we have started reviewing our curriculum, developing curriculum for our postgraduate program. We have already learned a program next week. We are resuming through the virtual meeting to conclude that assignment because we are developing postgraduate program and all our post-basic program aim at integrating them into the university so that we can start having the masters and PhD in various areas. We have already identified methods to have a area of specialization in all our post-basic and now been aligned to post-basic methods, masters in methods with specialization in different areas, pre-operative nursing, anesthesia nursing, ENT, ophthalmic, and all other related methods program. I want to also inform our colleagues in the sub-region that National Military Council have gone online. All our statutory activities have now been integrated into online activities. And that's why today we we don't have any issues as far as renewal of licensing in spite of pandemic of COVID-19. I want to inform you that as at July ending, we recorded over 4,000 renewal nurses, over 4,000 nurses renew their licensing because it is online component. Registration is also online. So since the beginning of pandemic, we don't have issues because registration is ongoing. Uh, Examination, you're also aware, during the same pandemic, we have concluded our midwifery program, which was released sometimes toward the end of April. And the graduate has also gone ahead to register accordingly as they wishes. So without any hitches, presently, we have already take approval from the Honorable Minister to conduct the May exam, which was put on hold, or rather, which was postponed due to pandemic program activities that affected the entire world. So we have scheduled to conduct our professional exam for general nursing and other postgraduate programs on the 25th, between 25th to 28th of this month, while that of midwifery is expected to commence on the 25th of September to the end of September accordingly. And we are also, our arrangement has also, we have planned to also to start planning for our November examination. We hopefully it will not be altered, it will not be affected because we are used to pandemic and we are also used to it. And also part of the educational program, I wish to inform you, the council has developed protocols for positive pregnant women so that our entire nurses has a protocol that can be used for a pregnant woman that have been tested positive. And those documents are also awaiting the approval of Honorable Minister. As long as we got the approval, it will be published to all the nurses and midwives. Equally, we have also developed in conjunction with the Women for Health, one of the partners. They supported us. We developed modules. We have developed 2 modules on the infectious diseases that cover the COVID-19 and the other related infectious diseases. We have already developed 2 modules, and we are almost on the last stage of releasing those modules so that it can be part of the existing 16 modules that we have for our continuous mandatory continuing education program. So I wish to inform the members that National Military Council remain active in spite of pandemic activities. And I wish to stress that our partnership with WACN will continue to exist. And I want to assure you, we no shaking, no setback, and we'll continue to strengthen our good working relationship and support each other at all times. So with this few remarks, I want to thank all the participants and to assure you that we'll continue to support each other. We'll continue to support the growth and development of nursing profession, not only in Nigeria, not only within the sub-region, in their world, because we extend our partnership and relationship with some of our colleagues at UK and America, NANA and Charity Group in the UK. So these are also part of the global relationship that will exist in that we maintain with the National Military Council. So once again, I wish you all the best. I wish all the participants happy deliberation in the next 3 days, and I will continue to join you as time permits. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir. We're so glad to hear from you and connect with you today. Hope to see you in subsequent parts of the programs.
All right, thank you.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
All right, sir. Yeah, moving on to Professor Patience Edo Samson Akpan. Professor Patience Edo Samson Akpan is a registered nurse midwife,
I'm available.
educator.
Yes, I'm available.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, she is a professor of nursing, currently chairman West African College of Nursing Cross River Branch, member of West African College of Nursing Education Examination Board, postgraduate MSc Nursing Coordinator, former head of Department of Nursing Science in University of Calabar, holds a BSc, an MPH and PhD degree. She is a grant writer and has won many grants for individual and collaborative researches. For example, the famous Carnegie African Diaspora Fellowship Program in 2020 for the Department of Nursing Sciences in University of Calabar. The postgraduate program in nursing science started in 2014 when she was the head of the department. She was inducted as a fellow of West African College of Nursing in 2009. She has also authored 4 book chapters, and published 82 articles in local and international journals, including referred conference proceedings. She has attended 70 international and local conferences and has presented 68 academic papers. Her research interests are in health promotion, education, and nursing, in which she has completed 94 researches. And each research has ended to junior faculty member, postgraduate and undergraduate students. She loves reading, cooking, jogging, and she is highly disciplined and stands for excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to welcome Professor Patience Edo Samson Akpan to the floor. Welcome on board, ma.
Thank you very much. I am Patience Edo Samson Akpan, the chairman of Cross River and Akwa Ibom State branch, as you have been told. I'm to give the opening speech. The president of West African College of Nursing, Professor Faustina Oware Kyagie, the first vice president, Mrs. Shola Aketi, the chairman board of trustees, Dr. Mrs. Comfort Ekanem, the executive secretary of West African College of Nursing, Alhaji Muhammad Yakatun, other executive members of the West African College of Nursing, Director of Nursing, Federal Ministry of Health, Mrs. Vera Akolo, the Executive Secretary, Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria, Alhaji Farouk Umar Abubakar, the Chairman, NAM, Comrade Abdrafiu Adeniji. Guest speakers for today, Sandy Summers, founder of The Truth About Nursing, United States of America, Chinelo Ofoma, founder, Nurse on Purpose, United States of America, other organizers of this epoch-making event, nurse leaders in Nigeria and diaspora. I thank the West African College of Nursing and the organizers of this program for making it happen today. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to give the opening remarks. I feel very happy today because I am a participant of this epoch-making event of nursing as a profession in Nigeria. We are here to talk about the image of nursing. Can the media come to the rescue? Changes in the image of nursing in Nigeria will not just happen, except nurses apply themselves to it. The question of whether the media can help will be answered at the end of today's interaction. However, those nursing activities that the media need to portray in good light, we are the ones to do them. In the United States of America, a lot have been done to improve the image of nursing through the media, advocacy, evidence-based practice, improved standard of nursing education, research, among others. In Nigeria, there are certain stereotype perceptions of nursing. Some members of the public and the media tend to portray the negative image of nursing. West African College of Nursing and leaders of nursing in Nigeria and in diaspora have come together to resuscitate the image of nursing, which is comatose. We have started engaging ourselves to develop and implement strategies to improve the image of nursing. We need not rest on our hours until the needful is done. Yesterday's interaction was very fruitful, and if you couldn't watch it live, please access your YouTube for live streaming. You are all welcome to today's deliberation on the image of nursing. Can the media come to the rescue? I implore all panelists, resource persons and participants to make useful contribution to address the image of nursing. Can we use the media as one of the strategies? We will be in a position to judge after yesterday's and today's presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right,
Hello?
thank you so much, Ma. Wow, that's so wonderful, and we hope after this, the speedy recovery of the image of nursing from comatose state is going to be as fast as possible, because I won't say the image of nursing is in a good state right now, especially in Nigeria, unlike other parts of the world where nurses are referred and valued. Well, moving on, I don't know if Mr. Charles Oguntade is on board. Mr. Charles Oguntade, if you're on board, kindly signify or unmute your mic. All right, I'm sure he's still trying to connect. It's also, I'll still have to move on. On today's schedule, we would like to hear about West African College of Nursing from Mr. Mohammed Yatu, fellow of West African College of Nursing, Executive Secretary. Mr. Mohammed, if you're on board, kindly signify. Mr. Mohammed, okay. Okay, I'm sure we're still waiting for Mr. Mohammed. We will have to come back to that.
I think he has raised his hand.
Okay.
He's raising his hand. He's raising his hand.
Mr. Muhammad is on board. You can read his profile and then he will unmute himself.
Okay, let me unmute. All right, welcome on board, Mr. Mohammed. Okay,
Are you hearing me?
Yes,
I'm on board.
hear you. We can hear you, Mr. Mohammed. All right. Alhaji Mohammed Yakatun was born on the 4th of February 1959 in Bida town of Bida local government area of Niger State. He attended the then North Primary School, Bida, from 1968 to 1974. Then Dendo Secondary School, Agay, from 1974 to 1979. And further went to School of Nursing in Kano from 1980 to 1983. He is a registered nurse, a Bachelor of Nursing Science, which he badged from University of Nigeria in Nsukka from 1991 to 1995. A Master of Public Health from the University of Ilorin, and now a Fellow of West African College of Nursing in the year 2013. He had a diploma certificate in nursing and aesthetics from the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, Enugu, from 1988 to 1990. He has PGD, BMT in Business Management and Technology from Federal University of Technology in Minna, Niger State, from 2000 to 2002. He is certified. He had certificates from Nigeria Institute of Management in 2010, and currently work with Niger State Civil Service as a nurse in Niger State Hospital Management Board, raised to the profile of being the Deputy Director of Nursing in 2009. In 2010, he was transferred to Niger State Primary Health Care Development Agency as the Director of Planning, Research and Statistics, the position he held until he retired in October 2015. Prior to his appointment as the Executive Secretary of West African College of Nursing in September 2019, he was a lecturer and the HOD of Public Health Nursing at the Newgate College of Health Technology, Minna, Niger State. After his retirement from service in Niger State Civil Service, he worked with various non-governmental organizations such as Global Affairs in Canada, UNICEF, Global Fund, and MSH. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to welcome to the podium Alhaji Mohammed Yakatun. I'm trying to pronounce Yakatun very well. I don't know if it's correct and if it's not correct. He's going to pardon me and pronounce it very well.
You're correct.
Way. All right, welcome on board.
Oh, you are
sir.
correct.
Thank you so much, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, welcome on board, sir.
Okay. Good evening, all. Greeting from the Secretariat of Western College of Nursing. First of all, I want to recognize the presence of Vice President Mrs. Aketi, the board chairman.
Good evening, sir.
Board of Trustee Chairman, Dr. Ekanem, Professor Akpan, my friends and my brother, Alhaji Farouk, Registered Nurse and Council of Nigeria, and other, the president of Nurses Association, Nigerian Nurses Association, Alhaji Adeniji, and the host of hosts. Good evening, all. You are welcome to this epoch-making event, rebranding the image of nursing through media. Well, my task this evening is to talk briefly about the West African College of Nursing. Well, West African College of Nursing has been in existence since 1979, but was inaugurated in 1981 in Gambia, by that Gambia capital Banjul. That time it has about 200, it was inaugurated with 268 foundation fellows and 9 students at the Department of Nursing in Ibadan then, in 1989. The college is governed by 31 council members, headed by president. Presently, we have Madam President, who is Professor Faustina Gaki from Ghana, Madam Vice President, First Vice President, Ms. Aketi, who is assisting her, and the host of others. The council members are made up of 4 boards. We have Board of Trustee, Board of Examination Board, Editorial Board, and the Research and Education Board. The Secretariat is headed by Executive Secretary, West African College of Nursing. The college was established to provide a specialized care in nursing by producing or training leaders, fellows, nurses who have graduated, who have BSc, MSc, or PhD to take up the leadership in nursing by providing specialist nursing care in accordance with nursing practice, assume leadership position in nursing education, administration, research, and clinical practice, plan, develop, and implement nursing and health program with other health team member in primary, secondary, and tertiary education, and also incorporate continuing education into work schedule. So, fellows program in nursing, the program is about 4 years program. As I've said earlier, the qualification is BSc, MSc, and PhD. If you come with BSc, we'll give you 4 years program. You start from primary 1, primary and 2, go to part 1 and go to part 2. But if you come with MSc in nursing, you challenge the program at part 1. If you have PhD, you spend 1 year, you challenge the program at part 2. So the college has about 5 faculties. Faculty of Nursing, Medical and Surgical Nursing, Faculty of Maternal and Child Health Nursing and Reproductive Health, Faculty of Mental Health Nursing, Faculty of Community Health Nursing, and Faculty of Nursing Administration. So any student that is admitted into the program in the college will have to specialize in this area. And at the end of the program, he or she will be given a certificate that qualify to be a nurse specialist or nurse consultant in the Committee of Nursing Care, in the Committee of Nursing Program. So they will go out there to train all our nurses there, they'll become trained nurses, intern nurses, and other health workers. They also participate in decision making and policy making in health and nursing matters. They also provide consulting and advisory services to local, international, and national health organizations. So the program in itself, the goal and the objective of the college is to prepare clinical nurse midwife consultant specialists who will function in leadership role within nurse and midwife team and should be responsible and accountable for implementing of care in specialized practice. Today, we are not only training, but we are now entering into a new aspect of program by collaborating with other international partners like we are doing now with WHO in training our nurses on COVID-19 pandemic. When pandemic came, we thought twice, what are we going to do as a college to help nurses gather knowledge about COVID-19 pandemic? We being the largest number in the health sector, and most of our people are in front line, we need to let them have the knowledge and protect them against the COVID-19. So we thought wise to partner with WHO so that we bring information, needed information about COVID-19 to our people. Initially, we thought of having fellows of nursing, West Africa College of Nursing, to be the only people to be trained. But now we say, okay, no, not only fellows, other nurses also be incorporated to have the training so that more people would become aware of COVID-19 pandemic and they will have a way of protecting themselves. After this training, they will now go and cascade the training to other nurses at the primary care level. We are also collaborating with Nurse and Midwifery Council. We have a lot of projects, as Register have said, we have programs that were training nurses, which we issue certificates. Like update programs are usually come up on various topics, on various areas of specialization, and happily, Nurse and Midwifery Council recognized this certificate and these trainings and allotted a 3 credit load for any training we did in West Africa College of Nursing. Even this one that is going with WHO now, I've already sent a message to all the Nurse and Midwifery Council in the sub-region to recognize the training and the certificate we are going to issue to the participants so that it can be used for license renewal and other forms like use it as a promotion or any other thing in their state or in their country. At this juncture, I think I thank the organizers of this program. It is a well taught program. This image, rebranding image of nurse wouldn't have come at a better time than now. We thought the only person that can rebrand the image of nursing is we nurses ourselves. We cannot invite anybody to come and do it for us. Doctors will not come and do it, pharmacists will not come and do it. It's we that will also rebrand our image. Our image is battered, and the only way we can come together is through all these stakeholders that will come together, brainstorm, and see what we are going to do so that we'll chart a way forward to create a good image for our profession. Thank you so much. Over. Over.
Thank you so much, sir. Though we have some questions in the comment section.
Okay.
I don't know if you can help with answering some. You can go through some and help us. Okay, we have somebody saying what which model of nursing are we following? Okay, I don't think that's for you. So we can go through some of the questions in the comments, sir, if your time permits, to see if we can respond to some questions related to the African College of Nursing.
Okay.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. All right, we have the president of National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. He was trying to connect with us yesterday. I later sent a message for everyone. Alaji Adenija Brafil, I don't know if he's still on board. Okay, he's still on board. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good to have you on board today, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this gathering.
All right, sir. You have the floor to discuss with West African nurses. We still have like 5 minutes, sir.
Good evening, everybody. I
Good
hope
evening,
I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear, sir.
Okay. I'm very sorry I couldn't join the program yesterday fully, but I'm happy to be with you today because I had only to follow on YouTube. I am delighted to be in this program, and I say that the progress and achievement of nursing services largely depend on our image in the public. As a result, this is a very vital step to ensure that there's progress and advancement of nursing profession in Nigeria to cope with the challenges we are having in the public. Like I said in my message yesterday, our image is our person. The way people perceive us and what people can say about us, it will determine what the relevance people attach to us, the integrity and the value people attach to us. As a professional association, we have been confronted with a lot of challenges, even in the area of negotiation, because of the battered image of nursing profession in the public. Despite the advancement in education, despite the advancement in quality services delivery, and in spite of the fact that nurses' advanced roles are expanding and we are contributing a lot to the healthcare services in the country, we are still being relegated because of what people thought about us, what people felt about us. So I said that the image can even determine whether there's going to be progress or not. However, on behalf of the leadership of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, I want to appreciate the work of West African College of Nursing and collaborating partners on this issue. I appreciate the input of our nurses in diaspora, and I believe that with our effort together, collectively, we shall be able to liberate ourselves and our image in the public. Our image, the way it is, especially in the media, is something that deserves our collective responsibility. Nurses in association, nurses in regulation, those of us in academia, our people in administration, people in the clinical services, people in the private sector, we all need to join hands to ensure that we correct the perceived bad image of nurses in this country. This is what is accounting for what we are being confronted now. So I say, and I urge every Nigerian nurses to be prepared on this onslaught to ensure that we join hands and then we liberate ourselves from the shackles and the obstacles being posed by what people think about us in the public. I say that people in the public will not read any book of our nursing sciences. They will only read us as the summary page of nursing and nursing services and practices, and they will interpret, they will put into practice what we think, what they think we are. As a professional association, we are happy that a lot of efforts have been put in place, but we need to do a lot about our image in the social media. There are social media tigers who are not contributing anything good to the profession. I wonder if there is a case that is so bad, the way we portray it in our social medias escalate a lot of bad aspects of this profession, and it determines what people think about our image. I therefore want to appreciate everybody, the people from the Nursing and Military Council of Nigeria, the people in the Federal Ministry of Health, and the people in West African College of Nursing Fellows and Attending Fellows, and people who are followers of this program, including everybody in the West African sub-region, that we need to do a lot, and we have been doing it, and I pray that Almighty God will continue to see us through. Thank you, and God bless. Over.
Thank you so much, sir. God bless you, sir. All right. I would like to welcome Mrs. Odunola Dada on board to take over as the moderator for the next section. My name is still Ola Biodigi. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be your moderator for the first section of today. Over to you, Mrs. Odunola. Mrs. Odunola Dada.
I think she's on mute.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hello, can you hear me? Good evening. I'm Odunola Dada, one of the Board of Trustees of Inspired Nurses Network Africa. Good evening, everybody, and welcome on board for the second section today. At this section, we are going straight to the training section. We have a question here on board, and the question is, image of nursing. Can the media come to our rescue? Yes, we can say the media has done a lot of better to the image of nursing. And we can't blame the media as much because the media is acting on what is being fed it. So now, we want to turn to the media now for rescue. But the question is, can the media come to our rescue? And to handle this section, we are going to call on Sandra Sommer. I think she's on board. Is she on board, please? Sandra Sommer.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Let me read your brief.
Yeah.
Okay. Sandra Sommer is the founder and executive director of The Truth About Nursing and co-author of Saving Lives, Why the Media's Portrayal of Nursing Puts Us All at Risk, published by Oxford University Press. Her husband, Harry, co-authored the book with her. Both editions of Saving Lives won Book of the Year award from American Journal of Nursing. Since 2001, Sandra has led an effort to change how the world views nursing by challenging damaging media depiction of nurses. Sandra has master's degree in community health nursing and public health from Johns Hopkins University, and a bachelor's of nursing science in nursing from Southern Connecticut State University. Prior to her graduate work, Sandra practiced for 15 years in the emergency department and intensive care unit of some American major trauma center. Sandra lives in Baltimore, Maryland, with Ari and their 2 children. Permit me to welcome Sandy Sommer on board. You are welcome. You can have the floor.
Thank you so very much.
All right.
I am excited to be here. I'm thrilled there are so many people here, and it's wonderful to have so many people interested in improving the media. We have been working, trying to improve it since 2001, and it's a long slog. So we're thrilled to have you all on board. And I'm sorry about the ringing. I don't know if everyone gets the ringing. If someone knows how to turn it off, at least on my end, I would love it. I don't want to bother you with it. Anyway, so I was going to share my screen, and I have to just figure out how to do that for a second. I thought I saw earlier. I have a presentation on, and oh, can someone give me guidance? I thought I saw it earlier. Start video. I think that would just show me. No, I'll show me, but
There is share. There is share in front of you. One of the icons there is share.
share. I see
Yeah.
share.
Share. Then go to screen.
Okay, I see share.
I've given you opportunity to share screen. Just press the share screen button.
Just press. Okay.
Okay, so goodness. That gives me all these.
Can you see the share screen button?
Okay, I
Have you
hope I'm
seen it?
doing the right thing here. It's giving me all these options. Wait, I better close a couple of these things so it doesn't connect to the wrong one.
Okay.
My apologies, everyone. Okay. We'll try this. It shows the wrong page.
Are you sharing a document? If it's a document, just click on document and pick the one you're sharing.
Can anyone see my screen? I'm sorry to make this take so long. Can anyone see this?
You can't.
Cannot.
Hello, Sandy.
Yeah.
It's Josiah.
Hi, Josiah.
Did you see the share screen on your screen?
I do. I click it and then, oh, here it is now. It's looking better now. Let me try again.
Okay, just perfect.
We can see it now.
See it. Okay. All right. Great. I think it. I don't know what was. Thank you all for your. All right. I'm gonna.
Sandy,
Yes, Josiah.
before you. Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Is that good?
Everything is perfect.
Thank you all for coming. I know I have a half an hour, so I'm going to try to go quickly. And Chinelo Ofoma is behind me, half an hour. So I would like to talk about the media, why it matters, and whether we can get the media to come to our rescue. And my opinion is that only if we make them come to our rescue, and only if we be part of the media and create media ourselves. So I will get to it. Now my arrows aren't working anymore. Now I don't know how to, there, okay, just click, okay. So does the media matter? Many people don't think it does. They see television, movies, listen to music about nursing, plays, and they think that it doesn't matter. It's just a television show. But research says otherwise. There's this recent Woodhull study on examining the media and the news articles and found that nurses are often germane, important to the article, but often not mentioned. And that same study, I think I didn't include all of it, but I found that nurses are only in 2% of health articles, even though we should be in many more, because the subject is where our expertise is. Oh, sorry, this is the same study. I got a little distracted. So honestly, this is complicated. I'm gonna skip over it. We'll do that later. So when this same study interviewed 10 journalists, the journalists said they didn't know how to find nurses so they could interview them. And the nurses don't know how to find the journalists. And when the journalist asked for nurses, public relations persons at hospitals and wherever gave them physicians to talk to. They wouldn't give them nurses to talk to. And when they tried to use nurses and their stories, the editor would give them pushback, give them trouble. It's like, what, you couldn't find a physician to talk to? So these are some of the problems as to why nurses aren't in the media. Journalists don't know how to put them there, and nurses don't seek the media. So it's a two-way street. It is the journalist's job to tell this story accurately, but they have been so, their minds since the day they were born, flooded with images that only physicians matter. So they don't know that nurses matter because of all the media they've seen throughout their whole lives. So it's kind of a self-reinforcing cycle that until we reach to journalists and educate them about nursing, they won't cover what nursing really is. In hospital websites, nursing is mostly visible, especially there's one study that nurses are buried alive. They're mostly focused on finding physicians, even though hospitals exist to provide nursing care. Patients didn't need 24/7 nursing care. They would be at an outpatient center. They wouldn't be at a hospital. The reason people are in the hospitals is so they can get nursing care. Of course, they get physician care while they're there, but the only reason they're in the hospital is nursing care. So we need more focus on what hospitals do, and that's nursing. In a study of all US hospital drama episodes on television, it was 20 years ago, but honestly, not much has changed. The physicians dominated and the nurses hardly existed in policy discussions. You know, I think, Josiah, I don't know if you're still there, but this sidebar of the Zoom participants, though I love to see everyone's faces, I'm wondering if, I don't know how I might scoot that aside for a moment, but if you don't know anyway, don't bother. I'll just keep skipping ahead. Oh, I mentioned that already. Okay, so the media affects the way people think. 90% of people said in one study that they learn about healthcare from television. Half of people learn about healthcare from dramas, fiction, not the news. They learn from fiction. Half of people trust primetime television, meaning the fiction, the main story, to be accurate. And 1/3 of people took actions based on soap, kind of the low grade drama. So if nurses are not being part of putting together television and fiction, you know, nurses are the #1 health educators. We are trained as to how to educate patients. So if we are not there creating television, we are not doing our patients justice, because we are the best educators. So we should be there. It's our obligation to patients to educate them. We have to be where they are learning from. If they're learning from television, we need to be in television. The media affects thinking. There's this series of television shows called 16 and Pregnant, Teen Mom. And after each of these episodes, tweets on Twitter to find birth control increased 23%. And this study found that the birth rates in the United States anyway dropped almost 6%. And the shows, these teen mom shows, were responsible for 1/3 of the drop in birth. The power of the media, that shows how powerful it is. 45% of kids in the media affects their career choice. And if we look on television, the nurses we see are not very autonomous, intelligent, powerful. And so it's difficult to get nurses into the field, kids into the field of nursing, especially the best and the brightest, unless we have compelling images of nurses on TV. So what affects how people think about nursing? It's not just what they hear on the news. It's our subconsciousness that matters very much when it comes to what people think about nursing. Just to show how important our subconsciousness is, hurricanes, when they have a male name, they only kill half as many people, because people are not embarrassed to get out of their way. If there's an evacuation order, they will go. But people don't leave their homes to a safer place if it has a female name, because they don't want people to think they're afraid of some female, which is, you know, this is embarrassing on many levels, but this is how our subconsciousness works. This room, for instance, if you want to get teenage girls into being computer programmers, and you show them a room like this with Star Wars and painted like a boy room, only 13% of them will say they want to be a programmer. But if you show them a room like this, light and coffee makers and pleasantness, 5% of them will say they want to be a computer programmer. So it's the image that matters much and how people think. I'm going to skip over that. What celebrities say matters very much. This person, Jenny McCarthy, she's a celebrity, a Playboy bunny celebrity, and 1 out of 4 people put some trust in information she provides on vaccines. She's a big anti-vaccine person, and she doesn't know anything about vaccines or health, but just because she's a celebrity, a whole lot of people believe what she has to say. So it's important for us to get accurate messages into the mouths of celebrities, so we can use celebrities to convince people the value of nursing. There was this study, JWT communication study, of 1,800 kids in 10 cities across the US. It was a focus group study, and the boys said nursing is a girl's job. I don't think the problem may be as bad in Africa, but in the United States and some other nations, it's hard to get men to come into nursing. And this was in 2000, when ER was the main television show on the air in the United States. And the kids knew more about the ER nurse's love life, not her professional life. The private school kids said nursing was too lowly, that more was expected of them. So this shows, you know, what children about nursing. University of Dundee in Scotland in 2009, the kids said nurses are brainless sex mad. Those are their words. And television, the researchers found television was discouraging the brightest students from pursuing nursing. So the effects of undervaluation of nursing is nurses can't teach. When people don't value us or think we have important knowledge, they don't listen to us. So patients can't learn, which is detrimental to their health. So nurses are ignored. Healthcare is denursified. The nursing is taken away from patients. Patients get less and less nursing now when people think of nursing. I'm sorry I don't have African numbers, my apologies, but this is an example of one country in the US of just the funding that does or does not go into nursing. In terms of residencies, nurses only get $1 for every $375 that physicians get. Research, nurses only get $1 for every $200 that the rest of the healthcare community. And for education, $1 out of $50. And nurses are the most numerous healthcare professionals. Nurses work on the cutting edge of research and healthcare, and this is how they're funded. And this is a reflection of the value people place on nursing. And I'm sure the numbers are different in your countries, but the problem of the undervaluation of nursing is a global one. And even though the numbers differ. I'm just gonna skip over this. The Linda Aiken studies, this is important. They found that when you double a nurse's workload from 4 patients to 8, patient mortality increases by 31%. This is an important study because it shows it's not just that if you give nurses more patients, they just have to work harder and maybe they complain more. It's not that they complain more because they're weak. It's like they complain more because nurses go into nursing to help patients get better. But when our patients are, when we have a workload that is so difficult that our patients are dying because we can't deliver good enough care, that is a problem for our patients. And that means that nurses save lives. If nurses didn't save lives, you could double or triple our workload and the patient mortality wouldn't be affected at all. But we see things, we detect problems, we intervene, we take action to turn patients around when they're deteriorating and save their lives. So these studies are an important tool for us to use, hang on to. And she's done many more as well to show that here is proof that save lives. So we need good staffing so we can save our patients. So the biggest problem to overcome with the undervaluation of nursing, the global nursing shortage is huge. We need 3 times as many nurses and midwives as we have in the world. We only have 26 million, but we need 75 million in order for patients to have enough nursing care. This is huge. So looking at the effects, the global images of healthcare, and I know Chinello is going to do some of these soon, so I'm going to skip over this quickly. But this is, they often put an old-timey look on nurses because they don't know how to portray us. This is Rosie the Riveter, big World War II hero. The unskilled, invisible stereotype. People often try to give nurses credit for being the eyes and the ears of physicians, as if we only have value when our body parts are connected to a physician's brain. You know, but we work hard in nursing. We work hard in the clinical setting, learning and being, you know, learning how to save lives from a nursing perspective. What our brains do matters. We don't only matter because we alert physicians to things. We matter because our brains decide when patients are deteriorating and how to intervene, when we make plans, how to intervene in their lives. The Gallup polls on ethics and honesty, these are maybe very American, I don't know, but nurses are often talking here about these ethics and honesty polls and deciding that this means nurses are trusted, and because they're trusted, they're respected. But I don't think respect and belief that nurses are ethical are the same. If people respected us, they would trust us to save their lives. So I don't think that, you know, we can use these polls in order to set an ethical model to hold ourselves up as we are ethical people, and here's how society behave. But in terms of relying on these tools to demand that people portray us well, I don't think that's a good use of the polls. The media likes to do a lot of physician nursing.
Just adding nitro.
Now the physicians adding nitro as if they do the ICU care. No, nurses do the ICU care. They add the nitro and the high-tech ICU drips. So that's what television often shows, physicians doing the important nursing care. Other physician nursing, they do the triage where you save lives hundreds of times a day doing triage, deciding who's sickest. They do the psychosocial care and the high-tech ICU care. So some people say, you're just bashing physicians, but look at what they get. They get these parking spaces, they get pictures hung all over the wall in the hospital and in the media, they get the big pay and all the respect. I just want to show you this one clip from a Billie Jean King movie. She was a famous tennis star.
It's an old guy like men are better. End of story.
I'm not saying women are better. I've never said that. I'm saying we deserve some respect.
So she was being attacked in the media because people were saying women are better tennis players. It's not that. It's like, yeah, physicians do great work. They save lives all the time. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. You know, I have great friends who are physicians, but they don't deserve 100% of the respect. Nurses deserve respect for what we do, saving lives. So there's enough respect to go around. People need to learn about what we do, and they will naturally respect us if they learn about what we do. I'm sorry. Okay. Physicians can offer.
Thank you. All right.
A whole team took care of the family member of this guy, yet only the physician gets the thanks. Some media, I just want to show you a little bit of media that we were able to change. This cast, I don't know if you can see it, but it says, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to recognize a good deal on scrubs. So here Walmart is insulting nurses as if, you know, they are stupid and not brain surgeons, but still they're just barely smart enough to realize when they could get a good deal on scrubs. It's so obnoxious. So I called the marketing person at Walmart, and with one phone call said, oh yes, okay, we'll take that down. And I worked with her on making a replacement ad that was not offensive. This wannabe physician stereotype, as if all nurses want to be physicians. This is many different television in one movie, where the nurses excel, as if the natural progression of a nurse's career ends in medicine. But at least in the United States, nurses are 100 times more likely to go to graduate school in nursing than they are in medicine. And, you know, these are two separate, similar, but they're separate professions. And, you know, nurses deserve credit for nursing and advanced nursing. Paul Krugman is a Nobel Prize winner and New York Times columnist. He, in his column in 2017, said nurses perform menial work dealing with the physical world. So we launched a campaign, and we had many letters go out to him. And then a short while later, issued an apology to nurses. If I insulted them, even inadvertently, badly done. I'm well aware how much training goes into their profession and also just how hard it is. I would be terrified to deal even once with what they deal with every day. I won't make that mistake again. So this shows, here's this, you know, powerful guy. He reaches millions and millions of people every day with a column in the New York Times. And we reached him with it was fewer than 50 letters our supporters and I sent, and we got his attention and he apologized. So it mattered what he said in the first place, and his apology mattered. So sometimes it takes thousands of letters to reach somebody, but sometimes it doesn't take that many. And sometimes like as in the Walmart ad, it just takes one person. So remember the power of your voice. Josiah, I don't have a clock in front of me, so when you want me to stop, you just cut in and tell me to stop. Here's a handmaiden image of nursing. Did you see that? Watch again. She had nothing to say. All she had to do was stand in the trauma room and anticipate the physician's equipment needs. It's like, oh my gosh, we have our own work to do. We're sitting around wondering what equipment physicians need. That's just such the hand image of nursing right there. Without a single word uttered on screen, it drove that handmaiden image, drove it deep into our subconscious brain. So what the public thinks about nursing, I think nurses don't have any autonomy or power or independent knowledge base. They think we know just a tiny subset of what physicians know. In reality, the knowledge bases of nursing and medicine, they're about equal. We have much overlapping knowledge, but people don't know that nurses know information that physicians do not know. We do things they do not do. And that's the unique part of nursing we need to tell the world about. In terms of autonomy and power, nurses are autonomous. Physicians do not control us. Nurses are in charge of, and forgive me if there are some power differences in how things are in Africa, my apologies, but in much of the world, it's this way, that nursing supervisors hire and fire nurses and supervise them. And that physicians may often overreach and try to get nurses fired and get them in trouble because they have thin skin. But nurses are in charge of nurses. And the nursing circle wrongly, in terms of power, is wrongly smaller. Nurses, we need to work together to grow the size of that circle so we have at least as much power as medicine, because we are at least as important in saving lives as physicians. So we have to embrace our autonomy. Articulating our autonomy to colleagues is about, we have nursing professors, schools of nursing, boards of nursing licensure, our code of ethics for nursing, that nurses hired, fired, and supervised by nurses, and that our job is to serve the patients. We do not exist to serve physicians. We are not their servants. We are the servants of patients. And we need to educate the patient that, the public that, and also our physician colleagues that we do not exist to serve them. If they want some servants, they can hire their own servants. And also that physicians are not qualified to be nurses. Many people don't know that. Many people think that nurses are junior physicians, but that is not the case. We are separate, autonomous professionals. We are not mini physicians by any means. And they are not mini nurses. We're separate. I'm just going to skip this. Here's some other images of nursing, the naughty nurse. This image came up in 2004, and I always call first the company. I called Skechers and said, we're in the midst of a global nursing shortage with no end in sight. Would you please remove this, degrading ad? And they refused. So we launched a letter writing campaign and we got 3,000 letters. And then I called back and asked them if they would remove it. And they said, yeah, sure. Disney tried to honor us for Nurses Day in 2004 and 5 with these naughty nurse Jessica Rabbit pins. So we sent 300 letters, many phone calls, and they did finally remove this from sale. Schick, they had razors. I called and tried to get this removed. We sent just a few emails, a few phone calls, and they did remove this ad. It was a print ad. Also hanging in stores, college bookstores, where there were nursing schools, this ad was hanging. They removed it. We got this removed with 90 letters. But the naughty nurse image is damaging to nurses. 71% of nurses in one study were sexually harassed. And another study, 100% of nurses were sexually harassed. And this is because of the enduring naughty nurse images that are all over the media. And people think that nurses exist to provide sexual service to patients or physicians. It affects nurses personally. Some nurses say they're treated as sex workers in their lives, and they can't find adequate, suitable marriage material because they're treated lowly by their society, especially in South Asia. This is a problem. Some research on disparagement humor. Men who listen to sexist jokes later display more tolerance for violence against women. And these naughty nurse images do a similar thing toward nursing. It makes men more open to sexually harassing nurses. Dos Equis ad.
The police often question him because they find him interesting.
That's a beer company. I don't know why these nurses need to be bench pressed at a wedding, but there you have it. So I called the head of marketing at Heineken, actually owns Dos Equis. I called and he said, here's what you could do. We have this thing called a code of beer marketing code of ethics. I want you to look at it and write me a letter as to how we have violated it. So he sent it to me, looked it over. Within a few hours, we sent him a letter how this ad violated their code of ethics. And then they sent it to their ethics panel, which was a bunch of outsiders, including Jolene Ferraro, the first woman to run for US vice president, and other leading lights. And so after a couple of weeks, they found that they agreed with us about, yes, it was a violation of their code of ethics. So here's what
the police often question him just because they find him interesting.
So they went into the ad, and digitally altered the dresses to take away the, make them not nurses' outfits, and took away the caps. So the ads to me are very fun. They're very fun loving. So I was glad they got to keep their ad, and yet we were able to get rid of the nurse identifier. So it's important, work with people and, not demand one particular way of dealing with an issue. Like if there can be a win-win, that's fabulous. We were able to remove this image. It took 5 months. It was very hard, but it was dozens of phone calls I made, and many before Coors took away these images. This was very easy to get rid of, just a few emails and phone calls. Here's this Dallas Mavericks basketball team. They have dancers at halftime. That goes on and on. So they performed that. Someone sent it to me, and I called the cheerleader, the basketball company, and he returned my call a couple days later and said they would retire that scene, so they'd never performed it again. So again, sometimes it just takes one phone call. This Canada's Nielsen Dairy, they had these naughty nurses show up at promotional events. The registered nurses in Ontario joined us, and with 1,500 letters, we got them to stop.
Did you come?
Hi, I'm Derek.
Tanya, hi.
Dentine. Get fresh.
This ad was pretty difficult to get rid of. We heard about it, and I called the vice president of marketing in Canada where it was airing, and she was very adamant that it market tested well, and she was not going to remove it, that no one flagged as offensive in the market testing that before they put it on air. And I called her every day for a week, and I couldn't convince her to remove it. Meanwhile, I found the voicemail numbers of the top 7 executives of Cadbury Schweppes, and I called them every day. I always got their voicemails. They never answered. I left them each an individual new 5-minute voicemail every day for like a week and a half, until the CEO called me from London and said, I apologize, we're removing the ad. So this shows it takes sometimes a lot of persistence. You know, you have to come right to the edge of making, you don't want to ever cross the line of making people think you're insane, but you have to show just how persistent you are, how you are going to pursue politely and calmly every single day of your life until you die. Make them think it will never go away. And then often you can't ever cross the edge into insanity. Men in nursing are not treated well. There's this idea that they couldn't hack medical school, as if physician medicine is the only worthwhile profession, as if nursing doesn't matter, isn't worthy of the attention of men, as if they must necessarily be gay. Of course, there's nothing wrong with being gay, but the straight men don't always want to necessarily be assumed that they are gay just because they go into nursing. And this idea that they're not real men because of number 1 and 2. So it's really a lot of offensive things that happen in the media and just public in general. On the night shift, this nurse Kenny, he wasn't too bad. He could have been better, but the code black, this nurse Jesse, he never really did much care of his own. He really just existed to serve the physicians. Belize and Angels of America, that was one of the best movies ever for nursing, Angels. And on the men and Nurse Jackie, they were fine. The women did most of the important work, but these were good nurses. And Eli on Grey's Anatomy, he was a pretty good nurse, but really he just existed as a romantic fling of this physician character, Bailey, in the center. Here's the angel image of nursing. Whoops, I should have gone back. I'm sorry, I had another picture. Now I don't know how to go back. But the angel suggests that nurses, live in heaven, and that we don't need real things that regular humans do. For instance, a paycheck, time off so we can take care of our children and take care of other things. And also the angel is an unskilled stereotype where we hold hands and comfort patients, and mop their brows and fluff their pillows, but we don't detect subtle problems that are going to kill them. So the angel is well-meaning, but especially because it's unskilled, it undermines nursing. Then there's the battle axe. We got this image removed with just a phone call and an email. Here's Nurse Ratched. She is coming back up for a television show in just a couple of weeks. So we're not looking forward to it. We have a petition. This idea about nurse practitioners as if they're just physician extenders, artificial limbs of the physicians, and a lot of offensive, that they're mid-level, even though their care is at least as good as that provided by physicians. So we have to look at the research when we talk about who matters, whose care is really excellent. So mid-level providers, very offensive. We got this, I'm just gonna skip this because I know I'm going over my time. So there's, the undervaluation of nursing leads to a lack of funding and staffing ratios that drive nurses from the workplace. And people die because they don't value nursing health advice, and nurses get demoralized. So we have to repair this. And I feel Chinelo is probably going to go over some of this. So I'm going to stop like 4 more slides. We have, for professors, we have some curriculum guidance at truthaboutnursing.org/professors, where we have ideas about things you can include in your classes. And so, you know, we need to believe that we can do it. We need to embrace this responsibility. We need to look and act professional, protest the negative media, create positive media, and interact with the media. So I could talk for another couple hours, but I'm going to stop because I know I've reached my time limit. So I look forward to hearing all your thoughts, and thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this wonderful presentation where African nurses are going to change the landscape. You know, so I show you a lot of American media, but these stereotypes are the same all over the globe.
All over.
There's no country that doesn't have these stereotypes. So we have the same fight everywhere. And I think a similar pathway is how we're going to get there. We have more on our website, truthaboutnursing.org.
Thank you so much, Sandy.
Thank you
for that eye-opening and very educative section. So it shows that this media battery is everywhere. So we just need to be proactive and deal with it head on. So now I would like to call on the next presenter. Our next presenter is Chinelo Ufoma. Chinelo, are you around? Are you on board?
Yes.
Hello, Chinelo. All right. Let me quickly read her profile. Chinelo Ufoma is a registered nurse midwife. She's a registered nurse. She has master's in nursing science. She's a certified pediatric nurse practitioner, primary care. Okay. Chinelo she has Bachelor in Nursing Service, Bachelor in Nursing Science, from Rogers University. Following her undergraduate studies, she sharpened her clinical skill as a registered nurse in several care arenas for 4 years, mostly serving the pediatric population, and received several awards and recognition while practicing as a registered nurse. For example, nurse leadership and consistent star performance at work. It was during this time that she discovered her passion for managing the health of children and decided to pursue further to obtain her Master's of Nursing at the prestigious University of Pennsylvania. During her collegiate years, Chinelo always had a drive to enhance and elevate the field of nursing. As a graduate student, one of Chinelo's research proposals focused on dismantling media stereotype of nursing. After excelling at her master's program, Chinelo was among a few candidates selected from hundreds of applicants to become a pediatric fellow. Following her graduation as a pediatric fellow, Chinelo, who enjoys travel and medical mission, decided to combine her love for both by becoming a traveling nurse practitioner. She currently works at a COVID-19 testing site in New York. As the founder of Nurse on Purpose, Chinelo aims to challenge and reform media stereotype of nursing. This mission is at the heart of her drive. As a native of Nigeria, Chinelo is aware of how far nurses still have to go in order to elevate nursing practice in other parts of the world. She recognizes that the action of upholding the nursing profession begins internally. According to her, the way we dress, present, and carry ourselves, our wealth of skills and knowledge, the ability to add value, our confidence, compassion, and sense of professional worlds all play a role in how nurses are perceived as a whole. Now, permit me to welcome Chinelo Ufoma onto the podium. Chinelo, you have the floor now.
Thank you very much, Adola. I appreciate that introduction. And I want to say thank you as well.
Welcome, Chinelo.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you so much to Josiah. And thank you for your mission, Josiah, and the West African College of Nursing. You have inspired me so much, even during the last few hours and yesterday. I believe that the work that we are doing and the continued efforts that we're doing now will take nursing in Nigeria and Africa to exceptional heights. I would like to share my screen. So I have a presentation as well. And thank you as well, Ms. Sandy Summers. She is a mentor to me, and I hope to follow in her example as well. So give me 1 second, I will just share my screen now. Are you seeing my screen already?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Oh, you are, okay, perfect.
Okay.
Yes, we can see it.
Let me get into presentation mode here. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, it's better this way.
Okay, so like Ms. Adola had mentioned, I was born and raised in Lagos, Nigeria. Even though I currently reside in the United States, my heart and my passion is still in Nigeria and the nursing excellence in Nigeria. As a child, I didn't really enjoy going to the hospital very much. I don't know if other people enjoyed it, but I didn't. But, you know, was always afraid of the injection, the nurses' injections and their behaviors and things that I would perceive as being issues that we all also notice on the Nigerian healthcare landscape when it regards to nursing. However, when I began to look into what career I wanted to pursue, I never had anything medical in mind. I wanted to be an accountant just like my mom. And eventually I felt a leading that I should go into a healthcare profession. And I decided that nursing was the one I wanted to go to. I loved children and I wanted to take care of children. So in going towards that direction, the natural reaction from my family being Nigerian is, why do you want to do that? Don't you want to become a doctor? Why do you want to go into nursing? It wasn't a pleasant reaction because everybody already knows how nursing is regarded in Nigeria and really around the world. This kind of pushed and fueled my drive to start to look for ways to change this perception that people have about nursing. So it really is a rare honor to be among such a highly respected group of nurse leaders. And I'm proud to be part of a profession that is evolving and a profession that is also looking to spread its wings beyond the status quo of what nursing has been relegated to. I'm also grateful that Nigerian nurses will not be left behind in this positive change that is coming. So I'm grateful to be here. Today, I will be discussing the topic, Image of Nursing and the Media, Strategic Intervention for Nurse Leaders. And I'll be focusing on steps and strategies for positive change. Ms. Sandy Summers has so eloquently shown us why media portrayals are important and that there in fact exists an issue. So the question now is, what can we do to change it? So I know that we've seen a few clips in the American sphere, a few videos from popular TV shows like ER and Grey's Anatomy, but I would like to show several videos or just a few videos that depict Nigerian nursing as well. So just go ahead and do that now. I'm not sure where this marking came from on my screen, but pardon. Okay, that one is not showing, so I'll just show this one.
So well. Now, remember soap and water. Now they take wash am. All this they form at it. She don't carry file like say she know it's in the inside.
Okay, so were we all able to see that? I'm going to take that as a yes. So the first video I had planned to show was a video that depicted a nurse who was holding the clipboard for the physician. The physician was going in to provide care for a patient, and she stood beside the physician, holding his clipboard. And when he finished writing with a pen, he gave the pen back to the nurse, and she just walked away. Like Sandy had mentioned, without uttering a word, that's a damaging representation of nurses, that we are clipboard holders, that we are made to play this subservient role, as if physicians are not capable of holding their own clipboards or pens or papers. Like we walk around behind them, and this is what we do in the hospital. It is not the job of the nurse to walk around with a clipboard. These shows have a large audience and a large following. Shows like Grey's Anatomy that have been the longest running medical drama on TV ever, about 15 seasons now. So they have a large impact because they are very much loved shows. They have a very large impact with their salient messages about the public's image, and that's a damaging image on nurses. Now, the clip that you were able to watch was showing our portrayal as gossiping, as having a toxic work relationship with one another. We're not properly dressed. We have on open-toed sandals, which, by the way, that's hazardous. We shouldn't be wearing open-toed shoes at work. We are wearing tight clothing, the white dress, just seeming to be wearing excessive makeup and discussing patients' matters and such like that. The last clip, let's see if it will play. I would like to show. One second. Okay, so technology, no problems. However, these images are very damaging. The last clip was one about Grey's Anatomy, where the resident physician was proposing a treatment plan for a patient. And here comes this nurse, who is an elderly nurse, who seems to have a lot of experience, and asks the doctor, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And the doctor says, or the resident physician says, "Come back and talk to me when you've gone to medical school for 4 years." And then he walks away and he says, "Ugh, I hate nurses." And of course, the nurse proceeds to, bow her head in shame and walk off. Now, that clip makes it okay for a physician to talk down to a nurse. Also, because she didn't attend medical school, it seems that her opinion is of no value. Her nursing skills and experience are nothing. Oh, I think something is happening. Hello?
Hello, we couldn't see the video. We couldn't see any of the clips.
Okay. I think somebody is writing on my screen. Okay, you weren't able to see the first video I played?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, okay. I'm not sure why, but are you able to see the PowerPoint?
We can see the PowerPoints.
Oh, wow, okay. I don't know why it didn't show that. So I will try to either play it in the future, but I'm just going to talk through the video so that I don't waste too much time trying to troubleshoot. And then if I can try to play it later on, then we'll go back to the video, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. This looks like Etch-a-Sketch on the screen. Can we wipe off the screen, please? All right, I'm gonna move forward, okay? So it shows that her skills and experience are nothing to compare, and it, like, not minding that this nurse appeared to be much older, more experienced, and has probably seen a lot more than this new physician. So it would have been wise for the physician to consider that there might be a reason she mentioned something about the accuracy of his diagnosis. Now, not only does it damage our image, it also damages our morale as nurses, because if we're not allowed to have a voice, if we're not allowed to speak, then naturally we're not going to be allowed to be innovators in the public, in the healthcare space, because innovative people challenge the status quo. They speak up when they feel things are not the way they should be. So if we don't have the ability to do that, then of what value and what value can we bring to healthcare? Then we're all aware of the video, the Olamide video that came out recently that disgracefully sexualized and misrepresented our profession in a mental health clinic. You know, the mental health clinic is a place where not only are there female nurses, there are female physicians, there are other female staff, but somehow when it comes to sexualization in the healthcare forum, it always falls to the neck of the nurse. Why didn't they do that to the female physicians? Why was it only the nurses that were sexualized? The way people have viewed us over time has been like these sex machines. Miss Sandy Summers showed us some sex dolls. Skechers had used us as, these bimbos. And then in the Dosa Keith commercial as well, nurses are seen portrayed in this sexualized way. When it comes to disgraceful portrayals, we're always the ones that they use. They will never use physicians because of the value that they place on physicians. We've also seen the video that surfaced with the junior secondary school students being trained as nurses at a clinic in Delta State. That would most likely never happen in medicine because the world is aware of how rigorous medical study is, but they don't know anything of the rigors of nursing school. And this is all, of course, as a result of public ignorance. I would really hope that our key Nigerian nursing organizations would take some critical action for these portrayals and begin to hold people accountable for the way they depict nurses and really recognize that this need to educate the masses about who we are is urgent. I was proud to see that there was a bombardment of nursing voices on Twitter calling action to pull down the video. And it shows that there is an uprising, an outcry for a better portrayal and representation for nurses, and that we are no longer comfortable with the complacency and accepting business as usual. So I hope that we continue with this kind of energy and response. So we know that the media portrayals matter. We know that salient depictions that we see in media matter. There's a reason why certain brands are more popular than others, even if they might not be the best ones, but they're the most popular ones. There's something to do with how the media informs our opinion, the public opinion. So even without the confirmation of evidence-based research, even though Ms. Sandy had presented that, I permit me to generalize that as nurses who care about our profession, these images are uncomfortable to watch. They are uncomfortable to our senses because they communicate to the mass of people who watch that this is what our profession is all about, that we carry clipboards, that we follow physicians around, that we sit around and gossip, that we are rude, that we are uncouth, that we are loudmouth, that we dress unprofessionally. This is what people see about us. And then after all, if a profession is seen as lacking in dignity, why do they have to respect us? Why should we be respected? Okay, I've never seen a Nigerian movie that portrayed a nurse with knowledge or professionalism or very stellar patient communication. And I mean, I rarely see it on American TV either, but you know, I don't think I've ever seen it in Nigerian TV. So this elicits anger in me. This elicits frustration. And of course, to answer the question, it elicits a passion to transform the status quo. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Let's see. Okay, so on my own, I also conducted a sample research. I want to try to show you all of that. Conducted a sample research. Can you see my screen still?
We can.
Okay, very good. So this is a research I conducted talking about the media representation of nurses. And I got a couple of hundred respondents. And my question to them was, what is your perception of how TV shows portray nurses? Are you satisfied or not? The overwhelming response, if you can see the graph here, says dissatisfied. And then the next after that was very dissatisfied. So we have close to 50% saying dissatisfied, and then about 26% saying very dissatisfied. So that was the majority number. Now we said, what, if any, effects do these representations have on the nursing profession? Can everybody see my screen?
We can't see the one you are presently talking about.
Okay.
You can't see the graph. So.
Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, I think I see what happened. I'm supposed to change it to a new share. Okay, now can you see it? Can you see it now?
We can see it now. We can see it now.
Very good. Okay, so this is the graph. And this is the survey that was conducted. And you can see that the overwhelming number said dissatisfied and very dissatisfied, okay? Then we went down, and if we asked what do these representations, what effect, I'm sorry, do these representations have on the nursing profession? And the answer that most people selected, close to 90%, says the public's view of things is largely affected by media. It thus diminishes our respect and belittles the key role we play in healthcare. So of course, when the media sees us as disreputable, then of course it diminishes the way they respect us, and our role in healthcare is also belittled. Nobody calls us to the table. We are not invited. We are not seen as having the knowledge or the intelligence to even be involved in anything that would be worthwhile. So we're not invited to the table. And then finally, I asked them, if you're the producer on a TV show, how would the nurse on your show be portrayed? And we had an overwhelming number of answers, but I'm just going to read just a few. One of them says, as a leader in charge of the care of the patients that independently manages several physical, emotional, social determinants of health for the patient, nurses serves to coordinate across disciplines and ensure patients are doing well. The nurse is confident and respected by his or her team. So that's that's a response that this is how I want the nurse. If I was a producer on a TV show, this is what I want the nurse to look like. Okay. The other one says, first, there needs to be a nurse. Some shows depict the medical doctors performing RN duties and all of that. So the nurse should be performing, of course, in the roles that they're supposed to be, rather than the physicians doing that. Another said, I would make the nurse multidimensional. The work life, the home life, I would apply real age to the nurse. We don't want the blonde, everyone to be blonde. We would have, so basically we need some diversity. A nurse leader in a horrendous environment. She had passion, compassion, and faults. She could do anything and she was human, and she was a central character, not on the sidelines or in the background. Okay. And then an overwhelming number said they would be smart, intelligent, and they would be a leader. There would be a patient advocate, there would be a primary care provider, and care coordinator of medical treatments. There would be a frontline part of the team that assists in preventing medical errors. Okay, so we can see that it is not a problem that only exists in one part of the world. Like Ms. Sandy said, this is a global issue. Everybody is screaming out and has the same passion and desires to see nursing amplified. Okay, so let me go back and go back to the screen here. All right, so now let's talk about our strategies. We'll dive into that. So we know that our goals need to be defined. They need to be specific, attainable, relevant, time-based. Sir Robert Brault said, we are kept from our goal, not by obstacles, but by a clear path to a lesser goal. So when we see that there's a clear path to any goal that mimics our goal even a little bit, we go toward that. And that keeps us from the highest of what our goals really were. So we have a high goal to change the face of nursing. The key now in order to accomplish our goals is we need a clear vision, we need a clear path, and we need clear strategies. So I've broken down sort of what needs to happen. What are these goals? I broke them down into 3 different facets. We have the internal change, we have the professional change, which I think is just about the most important. And then we have the external change. Internal change deals with within ourselves as individuals. Professional deals with the structure within the nursing profession. And then the external change deals with the public perception, which then alters the media's representation or vice versa. Okay. So internal, how do you view yourself as a nurse? Now, do you buy into the stereotype that we are just order takers who behave unprofessionally? Do you know who you are as a nurse? Do you recognize your value and your worth? In the healthcare system or on the healthcare team, are we made to see that we have value? Are the older nurses showing the younger nurses that you are valuable on the team? You are not just somebody who I order around or send around. And we need to really reevaluate this hierarchical system in nursing. This senior nurse, younger nurse, matron nurse, and all of that. That's something we need to reevaluate within our nursing, because I think when you afford people seniority, which they're senior because they've been there longer than you, but in a way it allows them treat younger nurses in a disrespectful manner. So we have to reevaluate it and really modify the way we regard seniority. I know that Nigeria is a country that deals with respect. Respect for elders is a very important thing. And I don't discount that. I think it's important to have respect. But when we come to a professional setting, we have to define that and see where the lines cross so that we avoid this maltreatment of younger ones, even in a workplace where it should be a professional setting. I veered off for a second. I'll come back to that. Okay, so the knowledge that we are advocates for our patients. Do we take pride in our work? Do you want to be a nurse or do you want to be something else? Are you happy that you're in the profession? Because all of that will affect the way you present nursing to the world. It will affect the way the way you see yourself will affect the way you present yourself in the profession to your family, to others that are around you. Some people are not happy to be nurses. They wanted to be doctors, but maybe they didn't get admission or whatever it is. And it's okay. Be honest with yourself. Know really how you feel about this profession, because that then helps you to reconcile it in your mind and either drive positive change or realize that maybe this is not where you're supposed to be. in the first place. Okay. Healthcare systems need nurses, simple and short. We are, we should be leading at the front lines of improving the landscape of health. You as a nurse make a difference in people's lives every day. And we've seen it really vividly with the COVID-19 pandemic, how badly nurses are needed, how much we are an integral part of the healthcare team. We are the only ones that can blow our own trumpets. Nobody else is going to shout our praise. We're the ones that have to do it. For almost 2 decades in the United States, nursing has been named the most trusted profession of all because of our honesty and our ethical standards. We have the knowledge, we have the experience to participate in healthcare innovation, and we have a lot of worth. Our worth cannot be overemphasized. So please recognize that as a nurse, you bring change and you make a difference. You are not just a nurse. I don't like it when people say, I'm just a nurse. You are not just a nurse. You are more than that. Okay, now we're going to talk about the second facet, which is the professional. And for me, I think this is really, really important because, if we don't change in-house, then we cannot just tell people they have to respect us. We have to be great in order for people to see us as great. It's not enough to say that you're great or tell people you're great or tell them to see value in what you're doing, but you have to become that thing so that people can actually see it. Otherwise, we're just faking it, right? So professional, let's talk about things like outward appearance. As in the last video, I don't even think you saw that video. Oh, now I feel like I want to play it. Okay, let me try to play that video again. And give me 1 second. I'll try and play it again. Hopefully it works this time. Do you see this now?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Yes, you can see it.
That's the reason he refused to get well. How will he get well? Now, normal soap and water. Now they take wash am. All this. I don't know. They go dey come at his neck. Carry file like say she know wetin dey inside.
We're able to see that?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank
We're
you.
able to see this.
Okay. All right, so as we saw that, the outward appearance, I'm talking about just outward appearance now. We saw that, the nurse was, the makeup was excessive. They had on sandals instead of closed-toed shoes, which, by the way, like I said, the sandals are hazardous. If you have, closed-toed shoes, they protect your toes in case somebody drops a sharp or something that is like a hazardous material. Anyways, I mean, I believe that's just basic dress conduct anyway. So closed-toed shoes, the uniforms were too tight or they were not fitting well. They were outside, they were gossiping. You only attract respect as much as you give yourself. If you're not giving yourself enough respect, you can't attract any respect. Even we have to consider how we dress outside of work, what we post on our social media. If you look clean, if you look professional, of course you're going to attract it. But if you just look like you woke up and you stumbled into your clothes or you're wearing these tight clothes and all that, people automatically pass negative judgment about how respectable you are or how respectable your work is. And whether we realize it or not, we represent our profession within the four walls of the hospital or clinic and outside the four walls, because people always associate you with what you do. So it's important that we are looking our best, we are dressed our best, and we avoid too many excessive makeup or things like that. I would even like to discuss the uniforms. I personally don't know if people have the same idea, but I feel that these white gowns and caps on the head are so backward and so ancient. They kind of stick us in the Stone Ages. where other professions are moving forward and wearing lab coats and wearing like very neat scrubs and things like that, we are still having white gown or pink gown or cap on the head. It just puts us in such a backward age. We don't look like we are progressing with the future, something that we saw when we were little kids. Now we are in our older ages, we're still seeing the same uniforms. Nothing has changed. So it doesn't tell a good story about us. I also mentioned that what we do outside of the four walls still speaks for our profession. There's a story about like a year ago, a certain physician, he allegedly murdered his wife and his child, and then he committed suicide. Now, that could have been anybody who did that. But the comments I had from people the most was, oh, wow, and he was a doctor. Oh, I can't believe it, and he was a doctor. So it seemed to me that it wasn't even that what he did was so heinous. I mean, what he did was terrible. People were more focused on the fact that, oh, he was a doctor. So what they assumed is that people in a noble profession like medicine would not commit such an offense. It's saying that people in that kind of, caliber would not perform something so egregious. So basically, in the same way, if we want to be addressed respectfully, then a respectable and a professional appearance is a must, because subconsciously, as humans, we tend to associate people's behaviors, including their appearance, with what they do professionally. So I would suggest something standard, like a very standard, attractive, but also very professional uniform, either like a light blue scrubs and sneakers, or just something else. That can be at the discretion of the West African College. But I would say something that is, is smart and sharp and makes us look very decent and professional. Okay. Is my screen the PowerPoint still?
Still on.
Okay, so the okay, so I just want to make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Okay, so that is that. And I talked about social media post consciousness. What are you putting on social media? People know that you're a nurse. What are you putting out there? And then we also talk about, the names we refer to ourselves as when we go in the clinic settings. What are the nurse calling the doctors? Are they using sir? Are they using madam? Are nurses being called sister? Are they being using the junior nurse, matron, those kinds of things? I mean, it doesn't really represent us well. If your name is Chinelo, you call me, either you want to say Nurse Chinelo or Dr. Chinelo, depending on your designation or your degree, but there is no need to be using Madam or all these other names to refer to your colleagues or the physicians as well. Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to education and mentorship. So the curriculum part of it, I believe that a national curriculum should be introduced that includes training on things like nurse innovation and just problem solving on a system-wide scale. We can allow students, nurses focus on a problem in the healthcare sector or in a specific hospital. It could be an issue with a product or a service, and just use that to develop solutions that can be escalated to those in authority in that state, in that region, as a matter to handle. That could be like a capstone project for them. Johnson & Johnson does this beautifully. They are a big advocate for nursing, and they have done a lot to promote nurses and the fact that we are innovators, and the fact that we being at the bedside have a lot to offer, rather than just the typical media representation. And they harness that and use that to our advantage. So that really blesses me, because whenever I see that, I feel very proud. So I wonder if on the front of the curriculum, we can have something like that, maybe a company that we can kind of leverage to be our spokesperson. And I'll show you an example of what I'm talking about. Let me just share my screen with you. Let's see. Let me share. I know some people are raising their hands. I don't know if we're answering questions or maybe afterward. So I will let the host.
You can go ahead, Shinelo. The question and answer is afterwards.
Okay.
Nurses aren't just skilled.
Okay, 1 second. Okay. It's not letting me. Okay, can you all see the screen?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Caregivers, they're innovative to transform yesterday's problems into today's solutions. They don't stop at what they have to do. They do what they know they should, always going above the call of duty, working to anticipate and solve problems before others know they're there. They're with patients every step of the way, through the most challenging of times. That's why we are proud to support visionary nurses through the Johnson & Johnson Nurses Innovate Quickfire Challenge series, because nurses change lives, and that changes everything. At pivotal moments throughout history, nurses have risen to meet the needs of patients, providing extraordinary care and spearheading life-changing innovations through unprecedented times. Now they are again answering the call of patients across the globe. On the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic, nurses are seeing what patients need firsthand and are working to respond and develop potential solutions to those needs in real time. That's why, as part of our ongoing commitment to supporting frontline healthcare workers and our communities amid the COVID-19 pandemic, we're introducing the Johnson & Johnson Nurses Innovate Quickfire Challenge in COVID-19 patient care. Johnson & Johnson, together with the American Organization for Nursing Leadership and the Society of Nurse Scientists, innovators, entrepreneurs, and leaders, invite nurses from around the world to lead and submit ideas with the aim of improving COVID-19 patient care. We're looking for new devices, technologies, protocols, and treatment approaches with the potential to help solve for challenges related to COVID-19. For example, facilitating remote patient monitoring and communications, supporting a safe return to work or school, sharing of best practices, and addressing racial disparities and inequities in healthcare. The nurse innovators with the best ideas will receive up to $100,000 in grant funding, mentoring from experts at the Johnson & Johnson family of companies, and access to the Johnson & Johnson Innovation J-Labs ecosystem. Nurses have supported us through it all, and we have never stopped and never will stop advocating for, elevating, and empowering nurses as innovative, critical leaders on the front line. To apply and get more information, visit jlabs.tv/nursing.
Okay, so that's one example of a company that is committed to nursing and elevating and amplifying our voices and showing that we are innovators. One of the sponsoring organizations is called SunCL, and I'm a fellow of SunCL of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And so what they do is that their role is to help us to bring out those ideas that we have that we don't really know how to develop and implement. And so that's what they do, is that they are very committed to doing that for nurses. And Johnson & Johnson has shown over the years that they appreciate what we do as nurses. So I wonder if in Nigeria we could find just an anchor company, organization, Unilever, or even Johnson & Johnson Africa, that might also be willing to take on the the champion this the cause that we are really striving for. So that is just one way. Then I wanted to also show you one of the fellows in the Johnson & Johnson Innovation Fellowship as well. She has ideas when it comes to information technology and bridging the gap between the United States and communities in Africa that don't have access to healthcare.
How do you now bridge the gap between these rural areas? And that's what my question is about. Using electronics, using mobile apps, using technology to bridge the gaps between rural areas and places where, like cities where there's a lot of physicians that stay there or a lot of nurse practitioners that are there. Likewise, if we're able to use electronics, use technology to bridge the gap between the rural area in Africa and America, wow, the things that the strides that we could take, the strides that we could take. Nurses are smart. We can play a key role in developing these technologies. We are the ones on the front line. We are the ones on the floor. We are the ones that are dealing directly with the patients. We are the ones that are saying when things work and when they do not work well. And so because of that, we have an advantage even over some other professions, because we see it, we feel it, we sense it. I sit here and I just don't represent me. And that's what's awesome about this opportunity with Johnson & Johnson. I don't represent me. I represent communities in Africa. I represent people that many may never see. My name is Dr. Fomi Stephanie Hancock. I am an African princess living in diaspora. I'm also the owner of Pull-Up Bethesda Psychiatric Mental Health clinics that are located in Arizona. And I am so delighted to be a part of Johnson & Johnson Nurse Innovation Fellow.
All right, so that was that. I'm going to go back to the presentation and just jump right into it. All right, so we talked about education, mentorship, forming a symbiotic relationship between the older and the younger generation, and having an each one teach one mentality. So a desire to see everybody succeed, and the older ones should pull the younger ones up, and the younger ones should learn from the older ones and also teach them as well about innovating in nursing.
That's true.
And not just being subservient to the physicians. Now, I never practiced as a nurse in Nigeria, so I don't know firsthand how things sort of work, but just from listening to the experiences of other nurses, been able to tell that there's a really hierarchical, like a grandfatherism going on, that the older nurses tend to take up more for the physicians than even their own nurses, their young nurses. Really, the older nurses should be protecting and teaching and mentoring the young nurses, because within ourselves, we cannot succeed if within ourselves we are tearing each other down. Then nobody cares. Nobody wants to improve if I'm not being treated fairly at work. Why do I care to improve the face of nursing? Why do I care for your mission? Why would I care if I don't even love the profession that I'm in? So part of that is everybody really taking responsibility for one another and treating one another. Let's break this narrative that nurses eat their young. We don't want that to be the case anymore. We want to hear that nurses support their young, and nurses elevate their young, and all nurses elevate nursing together. Okay, so in education also includes training, like I've talked about, in innovation, interdisciplinary relationships, meaning how we relate with our physician colleagues and our co-workers. Does a physician come in and we stand up for him or to give him a chair? You know, how do we relate with them? Do we see them as part of a team? Do we see them as colleagues, or do we see them as our sa or ma? Or if they come in, we can talk, or, you know, we are not house helps. We are not there to serve the physicians like Mrs. Summers mentioned. We are interdisciplinary part of the team. If we have enough skill, if we have enough knowledge, a lot of times lack of confidence comes from lack of knowledge about who you are and knowledge about the value that you have, which is why I started off saying that you have to know who you are and you have to have a good amount of knowledge. If you're not able to speak and not able to present or not able to defend your diagnosis properly, then you'll give the physicians the ability to walk all over you because they think, oh, she's not even smart, or he's not even smart. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But when you know what you're talking about and you guard yourself with knowledge, then you shouldn't have any reason to cower down in front of any other profession, be it the nutritionist or the physiotherapist or the physician, whoever it may be. Know that you're an integral part and nobody should make you feel less. Patient relationships, very important. How do the patient view us? Are we rude? They know nurses as being wicked, quote unquote. We need to change that narrative. We cannot be seen as wicked. We cannot be compared, as JJ mentioned yesterday, to the Nigerian police. That is, I mean, that should not be heard at all in our profession. We are meant to be caregivers. We are not meant to be wicked. We are not meant to be impatient. So maybe there needs to be a course on teaching about patient relationships and compassion and emotional intelligence, so that we can actually know if you're having a stressful day and the day, you know, take a minute, take a corner, you know, breathe, take some time off or something, or talk to your superiors. We need to develop a system where we take care of our mental health so that we don't end up pushing these attitudes on our patients and ruining the image for ourselves. Patient experience is so important. If they don't feel that they were taken care of, they're not going to go out there and believe nurses are so great and so wonderful. They believe what they see and what they experience. People don't remember your face or they don't remember what you did, but they remember how you made them feel. So it's very important. And healthcare ethics, you know, HIPAA laws. I don't know if HIPAA, I don't know if it has, if it's only in America or not. I can't quite remember. But HIPAA is the Portability and Accountability Act. Patient information should be kept private. You don't talk about patients in a public sphere. You don't even talk about them at all, unless it's something that is pertinent to their care. You know, we talk about seeing issues from different points of view. The story is told about an elephant. 6 men were trying to figure out, they've never seen an elephant before, and they were only shown different aspects of the elephant. So one person said, oh, it's a snake upon touching the trunk. Another person says it's a tree upon touching his legs. Another person said it's a, you know, it's a boat or whatever it was. And 6 of them had different perspectives because they hadn't seen the whole picture. So, you know, we need to see the whole picture of a person so that we can relate with them properly and effectively, so that we are not just seeing things from only our points of view. So teaching healthcare ethics is important. Nursing organizations was mentioned yesterday, I think it was by Dr. Cannon, that we have a lot of nursing organizations, too many, that we need to become more strengthened by our unity instead of being so fragmented. I know that there is an importance to have more than one organization, of course, because several organizations you know, do different things and maybe stand for different things, understood. But there should be a united front among organizations. When we have that, we can stand as a team and really drive projects forward. We can drive initiatives forward when we're united. I'm going to talk briefly about magnet status. Magnet status was mentioned very briefly yesterday. And it's a designation given to hospitals that have shown excellence in nursing care. And that's done in the United States as well. So basically with magnet status, there are 5 key components. in order for your hospital to qualify for magnet status. When you're given this magnet status, it's similar to having what we call a Michelin star for restaurants. You know, restaurants have Michelin stars. It just shows, oh, this is the best of the best. You know, when you go here, you're going to have a fabulous experience. Magnet status is the same way. It stamps the hospital with the award of excellence in nursing based on their transformational leadership, their structural empowerments, their exemplary professional practice. And this is all in nursing. This has nothing to even do with medicine or other interdisciplinary teams. Professional practice. Number 4, new knowledge, innovation, and improvements. And number 5, empirical quality results. Now there, you know, of course, there's always debate about whether the magnet status is fair or not fair and things like that. But when hospitals are performing on these 5 fronts to the highest ability that they can, they are awarded the magnet status by the ANCC, which is a credentialing body in the United States. Now, what happens is that this status attracts patients to seek care, and then it also drives nurses, physicians, and other medical professions to seek employment. It may even attract increased funding for research and community projects by the locality. If we in Nigeria could develop a similar model by which hospitals who have demonstrated excellence in nursing leadership, innovation, improving the image of nursing, professionalism, improved interdisciplinary relationship, and maybe even media features, where nurses, hospitals that have featured their nurses in media for a fair number of time, we can consider awarding them a magnet status. Maybe not use the name magnet, but we can coin our own term. That way, hospitals are more inspired and they're spurred on to make the nursing role excellent in all those facets. It's just an incentive. All right, so finally, I want to move on to external. So I mean, I hope that the professional aspect has, you know, kind of helped to illuminate the importance of why we have to clean in-house first and foremost, okay? And then the external would just be a natural outflow of that if the inside is well taken care of. That's my belief. Now the external, and we talk about things like community outreaches. You know, we want to participate in community efforts, you know, in the name of nursing. Of course, you know, everything that we've talked about so far will lead to an external image being positive. So if we have community outreach, like for instance, during this COVID-19, participating in like a health outreach for our immediate region of influence. And we do that in the name of nurses so that people begin to see nurses as public leaders, and you know, they see them as resources for disseminating healthcare information and for community empowerment. So when they see nurses doing these roles and they see them do so continually, it starts to create these images and build these blocks of positivity in their mind about who nurses are. Okay, so we're trying to rebrand by being advocates for patients, because that is our number one call, is to be a patient's advocate. So let's start with that. We have to reach out to the community first, and then the community can see, okay, oh, these nurses are doing such and such. Oh, wow, and they're nurses. Okay, that's great. And we do that continually, persistently in several communities. On the slide that I'm showing currently, we see that the ladies in the whites and blue are called nurses with purpose. These nurses with purpose.
Your screen, Shinalo.
Oh, it's the same screen. It's my it's the PowerPoint.
Okay.
You see the picture on the top right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a nurse-focused, nurse-driven, and nurse-created missionary group, and they go to different countries around the world, and they provide missionary support. They provide nursing, clinical care, and it is all nurse-focused and nurse-led. So we see things like this happening. And I know that we have nurse efforts in Nigeria. I don't know how far the reach is and the spread is, or if it is just nursing and how recognized they are. So that's the image we want to be showing. Now we talk about media appearances and outreaches. This is kind of the meat of why we're here today. And of course, it is clear from the previous presentation that the media has a powerful influence on forming public opinion. So we have to use that to our advantage. And so by media outreach, I mean like avenues such as segment contributors. So on the right, on the bottom right, this lady is called Nurse Alice, and she's a media contributor on NBC News in the United States in her locality in Los Angeles, California. And she often goes on shows when they need healthcare awareness, or they just need a healthcare voice to speak about a certain topic, whether that is adult health, diabetes, pregnancy, mortality rates, all kinds of things, even COVID-19. So she goes and she speaks. So she's a nurse, and she always brands herself Nurse Alice. Nurse Alice, she never calls herself a doctor. She never, accepts when she's called a doctor. It's always been. And if we look at Dr. Oz, where he has a picture with her, says eat like a nurse. She was featured on the Dr. Oz show as well. So why don't we have nurses that could also do such things in Nigeria? Media presence will affect public opinion when they start to see nurses on TV. In addition to that, we can sign up for things like being a script writer for films, TV, and radio shows. So if there's a TV or a movie that's going to come out and a medical facility is going to be shown, there definitely will be a nurse there. Why don't we as nurses reach out to media outlets and say, hey, in your movie that's coming up, I noticed that you're going to have medical people or like a hospital represented. Can we have a nurse volunteer to show you sort of how nurses are supposed to be represented and look? And I know Ms. Summers had mentioned to me that she had tried to do that once and it was poorly received. But like I said, it is just persistency and consistency. We cannot give up with that. So being script writers, even if they don't want to pay us per se, we can do it enough to the point before we get to the point where they are paying us, we can start to do it as volunteers, because our goal is to change this perception, right? So that is our goal first and foremost, and the rest can come later. Then in addition to that, JJ has so passionately talked about training nurses for interviews and other media appearances. So we start to train nurses, say, okay, this is how you show up when you go for an interview. These are the things that you talk about. This is the way you present yourself and position yourself. Any media appearances, and we can have sort of a training built around that. So these are all just the suggestions that I'm throwing out there. And then the execution will come as well. So being a nurse columnist, so we have Vanguard, we have Guardian newspaper, we have, all these Punch newspaper, people contribute on there. Why not have a nurse columnist, somebody who is willing to write for the paper on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis, and make that person a nurse columnist, or that group of people. It doesn't have to be one person. In print media, these are little seeds that we can begin to sow in media that will make a drastic impact if we do this consistently. Okay, so earlier we talked about university coursework and kind of adding it in the curriculum, things about professionalism and other things like that. But I would also like to add that, Mr. Farouk Umar Abubakar, excuse me if I didn't say that properly, but Mr. Abubakar had mentioned some educational goals that we have in the university, for which I really, really commend the educational system for, and I'm hoping that we continue to move forward with that. But we can also continue to reach out to university. Yes.
You have 5 minutes to go.
Okay, yes, and I'm almost done. Reaching out to university professors and deans of nursing schools to raise awareness and engage students even at the basic level, because that is where it starts. It starts with the students, and we need to start to cultivate a generation of nurses that will know their worth and their capabilities so that they can contribute to society in a more meaningful way. So we start to ignite this passion for rebranding nurses' image, even from the university level, from the first year to the final year of the university. We can start them young, and I coined this term, nursing the future, meaning that we catch them young at a very young age. We start to educate school children at a primary school level and go for things like a career day so that they start to understand what nurses do, even from a tender age, so that everybody, we recruit the smartest and the brightest. And we start to dismantle this negative image in the eyes of our upcoming generation and our future leaders. And then even thinking about things like cartoons, any cartoons, like the way physicians have Doc McStuffins. Doc McStuffins is a doctor in the United States that was created by an American, portraying a doctor and the way she treats her patients and all of that. And it's a cartoon. We can have that in the realm of nursing, maybe a nurse cartoon. I don't think we have anything like that even around the world, I don't believe. So Nigeria could spearhead something like that. And then nursing the future is something that I just coined about creating awareness of what nursing and who we are for young people. Okay, so moving on from that, the final thing I like to talk about is just the mantra that I came up with, just that I like to follow. In nursing, for our profession, we must always lead with love. We must persist through the pressure, and we must always continue to relentlessly elevate nursing. Very important. Going back to the TV, I just wanted to mention, I forgot to mention, somebody said the celebrities, putting our worth in the mouths of celebrities. They are like the biggest influencers that we have in Nigeria. So maybe kind of leveraging some celebrity popularity and educating them about nursing and seeing if they can, put us and popularize us in the media and tear down the damaging effects of portrayals like the one that Olamide had recently. So that is all from my segment. And I just want to make an announcement that we are going to be forming what we call a coalition for better understanding of nursing. Josiah would talk a little bit more about this, but this coalition for better understanding of nursing is a working group of the Truth About Nursing, which is Mrs. Sandy Summers' organization, and we're going to be forming one for Africa. The mission for the better understanding of nursing is that it seeks to strengthen nursing and improve the healthcare system by educating the public and decision makers about the value of nursing and the central roles nurses play in healthcare. They've been instrumental in analyzing the media, in educating the public, in participating in global press coverage, in pushing back against damaging media, and in just advocacy workshops. So that is something that we would like to be beginning in Africa. And I'm going to let Josiah take it over from here. Thank you so much. And it's my honor to be on this platform with you all. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Shinelo. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful presentation. We have a lot of questions. We have a lot of questions and contribution on the chat box. But let's quickly move to our next section because of our time. And this next section is the response to the guest speaker and interactive section. So, and to take us on that is Dr. Margaret Akpan, Fellow West Africa College of Nursing. Is Dr. Margaret around? Dr. Margaret, are you here?
I think we have to unmute her.
Okay. Can you please help? Can't find her here. Okay, if she's there, let me quickly read her biodata. Dr. Margaret Inemis Akpan, sorry for that, is a registered nurse midwife. She has BSc in nursing science. She has masters in public health. Yes, she has masters in public health and she has PhD in public health epidemiology, fellow West Africa College of Nursing. Dr. Margaret Akpan is an epidemiologist in the Department of Public Health, University of Calabar. She obtained her BSc Nursing in 1992 from University of Nigeria, Nsukka. She went further to do a master's and PhD in public health epidemiology in the University of Calabar in 2010 and 2018, respectively. She became a registered nurse in 1983 and registered midwife in 1985. Her research work are many, one being on cervical cancer among women, drew the attention of a charitable non-governmental organization in US, Ecopimom Ibia Foundation.
Ibia.
Okay, Ecopimom Ibia Foundation to immunize girls between the ages of 9 to 14 years with human papilloma vaccine. Surveys against cervical cancer. She has 15 publications and is a member and reviewer of abstracts with American Public Health Association, of which she is a regular presenter at her annual general meetings and expo in the US. As a nurse, she has carried out clinical works in various areas and have lectured as a nurse midwife educator in both School of Nursing and School of Midwifery. She was a clinical instructor in the Department of Nursing Science from 2005 to 2018, when she transferred her service to the Department of Public Health, University of Calabar. She has carried out various ad hoc activities in EU Prime partnership to reinforce immunization efficiency, Positive Development Foundation of HIV and AIDS, research assistant in discordant couple in post-exposure prophylaxis, a fellow of the West Africa College of Nursing with many conferences attended and posts held, a member of Technical Working Committee and Capacity Building Committee for the Prevention of COVID-19, and a facilitator in West Africa College of Nursing Cross River and Akwa Ibom branch. She is a current sub-regional chairman of the Faculty of Community Health Nursing in West Africa College of Nursing. Her husband is Dr. Inemesit Asogo Akpan, a veterinarian and medical doctor, and they are blessed with a daughter, Abbasiofon. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, and permit me to welcome Dr. Mrs. Akpan to the podium. You're welcome, ma. You have the floor now.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
All our fellows of West African nurses, our participants are nurses in diaspora and here. Please let me stand on the existing protocol. I want to thank Sanders for a job well done and Chinelu. From their presentations, we can see that we have a long way to go in Nigeria. And I want to start by also commending Sanders for a job well done on the image of nursing. Can the media come to our rescue? And she started to say, yes, if we believe it. if we believe that the media can help us, then we can do something to make sure that all this come to pass. And she has carried out, reviewed a lot of researches on the image of nursing, of which she said that she met a group of journalists and they didn't know where to find nurses, which is very true. There's a word that says that if you don't blow your trumpet, it will rust, and no one will blow it for you. So they have done a lot of work to make sure that we blow our trumpets. Nursing is invisible in this 21st century, buried alive in hospital. It's so sad and very demoralizing that we are the ones that are very the closest to the patients. We stay with them 24 hours, running shifts, morning, afternoon, and night. And yet we are invisible. Why? We thank God that she has highlighted that we hardly participate in policies, which is very true. When the decisions are being taken about nurses, it's doctors that take decisions, and they'll favor themselves and will be left out because there's nobody to speak on our behalf, nobody to advocate for us, nobody to say these people really work. I want to thank God for the year of the nurses and midwives, the year 2020. I just want to also thank God. I think things have, at times, things happen, we don't know why. The COVID-19 have really highlighted the importance of nurses. With a very small pay, wages, with only 5,000 naira as hazard allowance to nurses, it's ridiculous. So we see that if we don't blow our trumpets, then nobody will blow it for us. We have to participate in carrying out policies. We have to be on board. We have to be on board. We have to make policies for ourselves, policies that will favor us. And she also talked about that 90% learned about healthcare from television, and whatsoever is shown on the television as drama talks a lot. If you are, as we have been shown on a bright limelight, that is what the society sees us to be. But it's not all like that. It's not all like that. I remember a doctor that presented a paper in Unical. That doctor praised nurses from the beginning to the end, how they taught him how to suture episiotomy, how to scrub in the theater. They were there for him in the ward. In his clinical experience, he poured encomium on nurses. That is what we need. It's not that all nurses are bad, but the little ones that are bad, they are always the ones that have spoiled the vine for us. So we have to do a lot of communication. Communication matters. Because if we don't communicate what we do, then we are under-evaluated. What are the effects? They are seeing us as second fiddle. We cannot talk, we cannot teach. Imagine the remuneration in dollar as compared to physicians in America. A nurse earns $1, you know, and then it's research, we are also given $1. In education, $1 compared to $375. It is really ridiculous. The pay is even better in America. Nurses have peanuts in Nigeria. We are used as substandard. And then the ratio of 4 to 8 patients that was increased in America is even worse in Nigeria. 2 nurses can, you know, take over a ward of 30, 40 patients alone, especially night duties and evening duties. They overwork themselves and become very stressful. That's at times we have to seek for mental health care. Nurses have to go for mental health care because that burnout is always exhibited on patients. You know, this one is calling you there, that other one is calling you there, especially for a post-op ward, even a gynecological ward. that you have series of emergencies, ectopic pregnancy, uncompleted abortions, bleeding, and so on. Nurses are always on toes, 24 hours. So that burnout at times makes them to, vent their emotions on patients. And Sanders recommended mental health care for nurses. If you feel like that, look for a place and take a tea, rest, walk around. I thank God for the things that we put in place for the COVID-19. You can work 1 week in, 1 week off. You go and rest because the stress will become so much on the patients. Are we bashing on the physicians? The physicians get it all. We do the work. When they go to negotiate, they negotiate bomber salaries for themselves and just leave the nurses. So they think we, perform menial jobs. Nursing is no more like that. We have professors of nursing. We have different specialties in nursing. So we should bring ourselves up, have media visibility that will showcase what we are. I remember when I was teaching in the School of Midwifery, Maternity Hospital in Calabar, I came back from my BSc nursing, and an obstetrician gynecologist needed people for research. And then she asked my principal, Mrs. Emile Yonsawile, who we came back together. And she said, I need nurses. So I will have graduate nurses. The doctor was very shocked that nurses are graduate nurses. So you can see where they have kept us. But I remember as a student nurse, when we were having work rounds and we are with medical students, we outshine them in questions and answers. Even some of the doctors will hide their faces because they'll ask them simple questions they cannot answer. And we, the nurses, we were shining. Nurses are beautiful, nurses are intelligent.
Hello, are you still there, Dr. Margaret? Oh.
Hello, are you hearing me?
Okay. I can hear you now.
Okay, okay. I'm being muted. So will not be seen as promotional dancers. And our men will not be seen as they could not hack medical school. That's why they've come to do nothing. When we carry out outreaches and people, come from America to help us here in Nigeria, you see nurses. I attended the SCCI conference in Las Vegas. Men were very many there. I was proud to see, the whites, the blacks, and so on, all walks of life doing nothing. So men, we are not able to read medicine. That's why they've come to do nothing. No, they shall not, they should.
Are you still there? I think the network is bad. Hello, Dr. Afan. Hello. we lost. Okay, I think we lost Mrs. Akpande. But before I arrive, I would like to hand over to the next moderator. So taking over from me is Alege. Alege, are you here? Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay,
Alege is here.
okay. Alege
Thank you
is
very much,
taking over
everybody.
from me now. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, all nursing leaders. I'd like to hand over. Thanks. Alege,
Thank
you have
you,
the floor.
Mrs. Odola Dada. Thank you for
Odunola.
Odunola Dada. Thank you for the beautiful job you have been doing since morning. I really appreciate it, and I want to welcome everybody. That's we all are wonderfully welcome. I'm proud to be one of us because I can see that a lot of us have been working hard and are still with us till this time. This is 9:57. That shows that we all want the change that we deserve in nursing. I'm very sure that change is here and we're going to have them. While waiting for the presenter, maybe she will be able to come back. I would like to get some people involved. Those have been raising up their hands so that they can ask questions. However, it's essential for us to know that a lot of people know Chinelo has said a lot of things about hierarchy in nursing, and it's unfortunate that in Nigeria, we put too much importance into hierarchy while the profession is dying. It's right time for us to now look for who to lead that process, who to lead that course on at least bringing back the glory of nursing with everybody seeing that it is essential for us to jointly work together. My co-host who is online that is ready to ask questions. Is anybody there to ask questions? The hands up, anyone with their hands up. Let's see, so that please just indicate by raising up your hand so that you can be picked. Shino Ayelabo. Shino Ayelabo. Can you go on? Shino Ayelabo.
Good evening,
Please
leader.
ask your questions. Yeah.
Hello.
Please go ahead. Go ahead. You are on.
I'm with you. Good evening, leaders in the house.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Just continue. Continue. You are on. You are live.
Hello.
Hello. We can hear you.
All right. You can hear me. Good evening.
Yes. Yes. Continue. Just continue.
All right. I want to appreciate the speakers of today's session. That's really been wonderful. I appreciate every bit of the program. I have little contribution, and at the same time, I want to ask some questions. Having listened to the speakers of the session, we have a lot of intellectuals in the profession currently in Nigeria, but it's very saddening that we are still in a state of emergency when we refer to our public image here in Nigeria. Everything that has been discussed so far in this program is not perfect. Most of the points that has been raised has earlier been raised in previous conferences and programs, but up to now, we are still in this state. And this begs the question that what exactly is holding us back? The young ones are crying for help. But most of the people leading us are not really seeing the cry of the young ones. There is a huge gap. All of these things that has been mentioned, all of these points that has been mentioned, it will be very sad if in the next 4 or 5 years, we are still organizing another webinar to discuss how we will move forward. Because over time, I can count, if you start counting, we'll count like 10 professors without stopping, as I speak to you right now, that are currently in the country. Aside from that, we have so many clinical experts who are in various hospitals. Why are we not utilizing these people to the fullest?
Esther.
All right,
Esther Oshunwi, please pick the mic. Esther Oshunwi.
Esther Oshunwi, I'm here.
Please continue.
Good afternoon.
You have just 1 minute, please. Because of our time, you have just 1 minute. Just go straight to your question.
Good afternoon, everyone. All protocols observed. My name is Esther Oshunwi. I'm a Nigerian nurse currently practicing in the United States. Now, I really want to appreciate this program and everyone who has spoken. Now, my concern, my observation is in education and leadership. In education, the last speaker, she spoke very, very well, and she spoke about magnet status. Now, for magnet status, part of the requirement is the percentage of nurses who have degrees, bachelor's degree. And I know the boss, the CEO of our nursing council is speaking about that. Lack of knowledge translates to lack of confidence. So we need to do something about the education of nurses for us to build confidence in the practice setting. Confidence plus enabling environment, which our senior nurses can actually help with. Now, when we talk about nurses being abusive, taking bribes, my question will be, where are the nurse leaders on this unit when all these atrocities are taking place? That takes me to lack of accountability as nurse leaders. Now, this image of nursing project that we all want to do, that we are so passionate about, I really want to thank Nurses on Air and INA and WACN. INA and Nurses on Air, we've been working for years on this, and I thank you for your steadfastness. However, we need the private sector, we need nurses in diaspora. My concern is just that, or my question is, can nurses in Nigeria, in government, can they lead this project? Considering these peculiar cases, our system in Nigeria, can they lead this project? Because they want to protect their jobs. They cannot really be out front there. So we really do need nurses who are maybe retired or in the private sector, or nurses in diaspora. Of course, to work with everyone in Nigeria and work with everyone in government, but we need a face to lead this project. And I really do not think that nurses who are still working for government in Nigeria, because they need to protect their jobs, I don't think they need to lead this important project. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma. The next person I'm going to call on is Chidebele Obichi. Please unmute. Chidebele, continue.
Yes, thank you so much. My name is Chidebele. I'm as well a faculty member in Indiana University in the US. So my concern is, I want to say thank you to Esther for saying what she said. We cannot get nurses who are working for government to fight against the government or to fight things like that. There are associations in America that employ a nurse to run certain things. So this nurse is not working for the government, but is just there for the face of nursing. Then the one is, we were colonized by the British. So we kind of adopted the British educational system and curriculum. Now we are leaning towards the American curriculum. What are we doing? What can we do to be able to balance both so we are not confused? Our basic education curriculum in Nigeria is basically based on the British curriculum. So what can we do to bridge that gap and reduce that confusion so that we know exactly what we want? Because nurses, women in America, they are pushed forward. Our culture in Nigeria also are kind of oppressive on the women folk. And nurses is, the nursing profession is generally women, majority of women. So these are things that we must take into consideration to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ruth Ifediora, please unmute and continue. Ruth Ifediora.
Hello.
Yeah, please continue, ma'am.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate everyone for this program, and I'm so excited. One thing I know that everything has been said. I'm also a Nigerian nurse trained in Nigeria, practicing in the United States. So the only one thing I want to say is this: the rebranding has to start with us. And I want to emphasize for us to start, if possible, with immediate effect. Stop using the word, oh, Mommy Jones, Mommy Peter, Daddy Peter. These are all your professional colleagues. For us to begin rebranding, we have to start with Mr. John, Mr. Peter, Miss Grace. Whatever their name is, address them professionally. Stop using the word mommy this, mommy that, daddy this, or sir this in a professional environment. I guess that should be the first step we need to take. Then we can continue with other recommendations that have been given today from all the speakers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Miss Ruth Ifediora, let me just say something clearly, and that is why I want to appreciate everyone that has joined their hands together to organize this webinar. Nigerian situation, if you dare try what you have said in Nigerian situation, the person will be made to face a lot of victimization. And that is where we need to look for which body, is it NAM, is it Nursing Council, that will bring about a new form of curriculum that will teach the normal professional interaction within a hospital setting. Nigerian situation is quite difficult. Some of us are seen as of today as one of the bad bloods in the nursing, just because we felt that right thing must be done. And I'm just saying it so that you, because you are practicing in a civilized environment where things are regulated, Nigerian situation is not like that. And I just pray that this webinar will bring about a lot of changes. And yesterday we made a lot of advertisements on bringing in some leaders in nursing, DNS, principal of nursing, HODs of departments, to listen to this webinar so that it can have change of attitudes. I have tried to check through all the attendants. I've not been able to pick one or two that I'm aware of. I hope things can get to the right place so that things can be done rightly. Thank you very much. Ajibola Aishat, you are muted. Please, go on.
Yeah. Thank you.
This is taking time.
Good
Too
evening,
much.
House, my professional colleagues. I really appreciate this webinar. Hello?
We're listening to you. Please go on. Go on. Just go on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So I want to appreciate the organizer of this webinar, and we pray that God Almighty to be. And what I want to say here is that nursing in Nigeria is something else. It's something else in the sense that most of us who they call the young nurses, they call us junior nurse. When you call somebody junior, that means the person will be even demoralized with that junior. When we have our children at home, we call them junior. At the time, they will tell you, I'm a big boy. So then you keep calling a nurse a junior nurse, and the doctors will be laughing at us. So we should try to rebrand in that area. Learn to groom our young ones, because they are the people we are going to leave behind in this profession. The way we treat them, that is exactly how the society is going to treat us. And it will take a person with church mind, a retired nurse who come to the hospital who have treated them badly when they were young. It will take a church mind for such a nurse to actually treat that retired nurse. Then another thing is that in education, we find out that we are well read. We used 4 years in School of Nursing and Midwifery. After that, we go back to university to have our degree. Where some spend 4 years additional and some spend 5 years. Not a branding enough. We knew what is outside the country. After nursing and midwifery and giving to you just a 2 years course to upgrade and have your Bachelor of Nurse Science. Then here we discover that even after you sweat and get all the certificates, in year one, them out of agency, out of it, to push that damn situation. These people and compete with other in the them to a ridiculous position. We don't allow them to speak. Then when we have the young one that is trying to say, oh, this way you are doing, let's change the status quo so that things will move better. You see some of these leaders silencing them gradually. Some will even bring their spouses to the institution to tell them to warn their wives, to warn their children, because they are trying to tell them this is how we're supposed to do or supposed to run nursing this time around. After all, we have constitution that says an individual has the right to tell how he or she should be treated in an organization. Yet, we won't allow these people to operate. We keep suppressing them. We keep intimidating them. The society is looking at us. Look at a sister in the world. You slept in your house very well. Coming to work, you don't even bother to know what a
Aminullah Nasri. Please go ahead. Aminullah Nasri. Aminullah Nasri, can you go ahead, please? Anthony Achi, please go ahead because we're about to close. Anthony
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Can you hear me? Thank you. I want to contribute by saying thank you to the presenters. We don't have time. Let me go straight.
You have 1 minute, please.
Yes. I just want to observe one thing. I'm really interested in what is going on, but it's unfortunate that some of the people that really need to listen to us are not there. We have never remembered to talk of those in the private hospitals and those that are working in the faith-based hospitals, because that is where you have those people that really don't know what is happening. So we really need to strategize on how to involve these people in a program like this. So even if it means having something like a workshop, that's okay. But we really need to move them, bring them in, because they are part of the system and they are really pulling us back in the profession. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Gary, please pick the mic. Eddie, you have 1 minute. Edith, are you there?
Hello, I'm here, please.
Yeah. Please, 1 minute, very fast.
The change should begin with each and every one of us. All of us make up our mind to be agents of change. Develop yourself. Be proactive as a nurse. Be loving but firm when you ought to. The junior nurses should respect the older ones. The older nurses be exemplary role models, be leaders that others can depend on. Then the issue of quackery, we are trying to beautify nursing now. We're trying to rebrand. With this low cadre nursing and low cadre midwives that the council has approved, I think we should kill it because it further erodes the image of the Nigerian nurse. What we have, let us build on it. Let every school of nursing go to the university. Let us be university-based. Let us advance and not start going backwards. Recruiting school dropouts to become nurses and they're giving a certificate from council, that will kill us. Thank you very much, organizers of this program.
Thank you very much, ma. Christiana Adeboboye. Christiana Adeboboye, after you, I'll just give one other person the chance of speaking, then we'll close for the day. Christiana Adeboboye, please pick the mic.
Thank you very much, sir. Good evening, everyone. I am so much impressed about this webinar, and I pray that we will have success in Jesus' name.
Amen.
However, I want to say that the change, like every other person said, begins with us. Everybody is responsible. Every nurse is responsible for this change, and we must focus on nursing futures, just like Chinelo said. Increase our community communication skills with others, especially our colleagues. Improve collaboration with our colleagues and other sectors. We have to reduce victimization of young nurses. We should be able to mentor them. We should be able to offer solutions to professional problems arising at work. We should be able to encourage one-on-one relationship with young people and young nurses especially. By so doing, as a leader, we'll see that at the end of the day, we have a new generation of nurses. Let's take, for instance, the bankers. When you see bankers work together, you love to work with them. This is one spirit. This is team spirit, and this is what nurses should look out for. So nurses, we are really challenged with this media poor image, and we must change it. In my own little way, I have started working in my community through, doing a career talk in the schools and then advocating with the stakeholders who can encourage young ones to come up into nursing, telling them what nursing is, and it's really going a long way. I think we can start from somewhere. God will help us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma. Please let me use the opportunity to call back Dr. Margaret Ackman, so she can come back and give a roundup of our discussion. Dr. Margaret Ackman, are you online, please, ma? Dr. Margaret Ackman, are you back, ma?
Yes, I'm online.
Please, ma, just
Yes,
use this
I'm back.
opportunity to conclude.
It's just like a summer, okay. Just for the summary, because a lot of our colleagues have also said everything about what the second presenter, Chinelu, did. But I want to highlight her summary, how to improve the nurses media problem. Number one, he said we can believe, and if we believe, we can do it. Hello?
We are listening to you, ma. We are listening to you, ma.
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, ma, clearly.
Hello? Oh, okay.
We can hear you clearly, ma.
Okay. Yes, she said if we believe, we can do it. Okay, if we believe, we can do it. And then we have to look, at our profession and protect it, and protest against the negative media that is being used in our profession. Like just what one of us said in Delta State, there's 3 students being trained as a nurse. I even watched the one that the doctor gave certificates to 3 graduates from his clinic, which one of the nurses reported in our platform. So we have to be very positive against the we have to have a positive media orientation and go in for it. We have to blow a trumpet. I've said we have to blow a trumpet, and we have to interact with the media, just like Tinelu said. We can form a cartoon that can can be acted on the positive image of nurses and how we can treat our patients positively and with a cordial relationship and very well. So if we do this, all these low-level provider that we have came to be, mid-level provider, and so on and so forth, will help us a lot. And another thing we want to say is that we use money to look for things. So if we have good funding and good staffing ratio and the curriculum guide, just like she mentioned, and we say the truth about ourselves, just as many of our nurses have said the truth. Some of us have very bad behavior. If we can say the truth about ourselves, put in the curriculum, teach the younger nurses on how to behave, and even the older ones, and the staffing ratio is improved, mental health will be stable. And if we fund ourselves well, carry out jingles on the televisions and radio that can showcase our image as nurses, not as beggars or or low-level providers. It will go a long way to help us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. God bless you for the brief conclusion part of your speech. The older nurses have said a lot of things about what can help nursing in Nigeria. However, the people that orchestrate this dehumanizing nature of bringing down the professions, majority of them are not on this platform. I think it is the zealous ones, the ones that has nursing at heart, are the ones on this platform now listening to this webinar. I just don't know how we can bring all these people into play. Can you imagine where a CNO seizes a 2-day off because she don't breathe high in the money? And then CNO came and said, sorry, madam, it's not possible this way. The next thing she did was seize a day off of an ACNO. That is not professionalism. It's like we are practicing master-servant relationship. And this is what is killing nursing in Nigeria. And the fortunate thing is that the very few of us who are vocal and say we want to really change things are seen as bad. And even some of the junior nurses will now connive with the senior nurses the way they normally call themselves and turn against these younger ones. It's not good. We need to bring nursing to limelight. We need to change things. We need to bring it to the right perspective so that things can change in Nigeria. We can practice the way they practice overseas. Now, among the people that are raising up hands, I've called somebody before. I want to call him again. And this is going to be the last person before we run up the program and call it a day. We have expended a lot of time. This is 10:24 Nigerian time. And I think we should be looking forward to bringing this program to a close for today. Aminu Nasir. Aminu Nasir, please unmute yourself. I've given the permission to unmute yourself and pick the mic. Aminulahi Nasiru. Aminulahi Nasiru. Okay. Ali Umar. Ali Umar, please speak the mic. Ali Umar. Ali Umar, pick the mic. Are you there?
Revamping nursing education in Nigeria.
Go ahead. Hello. Esther Olayoju. Esther Olayoju, pick the mic. Esther Olayoju, pick the mic. I think everyone that we've been calling, who is using Infinix Note 4, please unmute. Infinix Note 4. Unmute, give your contribution so that I can call on.
Okay. Good evening.
Can you hear from Ali Umar, sir? Ali Umar, can you hear from me, sir?
Aluman, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Hear
Can you hear
me?
from me,
If
sir?
it is not call.
Aluma, please, let Aluma please say something before the next person, before
Thank
even
you.
if Nufo talks.
Thank you very
Just
much,
4
sir.
minutes.
Hello, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for giving me this opportunity to be part of this great organization, the South African College of Nursing. Kudos to all our lecturers who have been struggling tirelessly to see that nursing has come from the cradle to the standard of limelight. The issue there is that is the issue of placement of graduate nurses, because if you look at most of the nurses who has graduated from the university, they are now
Are you still there? Are you still there? Hello.
No, sir, can you hear me?
Please go ahead.
Am I
your voice
communicating,
went
sir?
off. Yes,
Am I
yes,
communicating?
Yes,
So what
please
I'm
go ahead.
saying is that the entry point for graduate nurses is unfair. That's why even the nurses from School of Nursing and other professionals like pharmacy, like medicine and all these things, they are mocking the profession, and we will say that how can you compare someone who went to university and they are equipping their entry point with that of School of Nursing? The difference supposed to be made in the entry point.
Okay.
Kudos that West African College of Nursing is in collaboration now with NAM and West Africa with Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria, because they are the key strong force about this thing. Because by the time we started looking at these people, they are nurses, they are graduates. No, we should remove that. We should have a template that this is the entry point, like for the entry of university. If you don't have, if you are coming in as a DE student, this is the criteria. You understand? So in the civil service, this thing should also be placed, that for entry point for graduate nurses, for BNSC, after internship, this is the placement. And that placement is affecting most of the graduate nurses. It's affecting the image of nursing in the society. But if the placement will be equitable to the other professionals in the clinical practice, you see that it goes a limelight. And the issue of School of Nursing, they will be prioritizing tutorials, those that went for tutor. How can you equip someone, quantified someone who went to School of Nursing and is a tutor, and this person is a graduate, haven't passed through all these standards? At least Nursing Council has to do something about that. Once you are a graduate, you're automatically a lecturer. You can lecture in all aspects. And I think these are the images where we can see they can value us. Even the nurses in School of Nursing, they are not valuing the graduate nurses because of the issue of placement. How can you place them in the same position? This is my contribution, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. If it is no follow, please go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
If it is no
Hello. Yeah, I'm online now. I'm really grateful for this platform, but I have something to say. The issue of image of nursing in Nigeria, I will really say among the 12 there is a Judas. For example, like I am a registered midwife in Nigeria, and I also practice in Nigeria. Now, what are we going to say when a medical doctor gets married to a nurse? Then the medical doctor and the nurse, they begin to breed quacks. You get? Now, when they say fight for quackery, as in let's eliminate quackery and the rest, you will see them at the forefront. They will be shouting. But when it is time for action to take place, they will be like, they want to cut down the cost of everything. Now, my question is, with this issue of quackery, where nurses contribute to 95% of training them in Nigeria, especially wives of medical doctors, how can the image of nursing be rebranded? That is it. Then nurses, we are enemies to ourselves. How can someone who went to a school of nursing or school of midwifery, then you will see them in a private sector with someone who is a BSc holder. Now the BSc holder will be like talking down on the registered nurse, as in the person that went for school of nursing, in the essence of I am a registered, I am a BSc holder, you are a registered nurse midwife. My own contribution to this is Nursing and Midwifery Council should do something about this. School of Nursing and Midwifery should be scrapped in Nigeria. Everybody should go to BSc. Then after BSc, if you want to pursue a specialty, then you can go for a specialty. I think quackery, in fact, quackery has done much harm to us, and it's coming from nurses, especially wives that nurses that are wives to medical doctors. In fact, most most of the states in Nigeria.
Hello, it seems that your network is bad. Maybe you can keep the questions to another time tomorrow for our interactive session. However, we need to move ahead because of our time. We have dig too much into individuals' time and their programs. So let me just say we still have another day tomorrow. The day 3 of this marvelous program, this beautiful, this awesome program, Image of Nursing. We are going to continue tomorrow by special grace of God at the same time by 7 p.m. And there's also a special training, Image of Nursing and the Media. You are all invited to a one-day nurse and media career session, Ethics of Nursing. Can I pursue a full career in media? The question is, as a licensed professional nurse, can I still pursue a full-fledged career in the media industry as any of the following: model or beauty pageant, media brand influencer, radio stroke TV presenter, reality TV show celebrity, musician or entertainer? Or are these truly against the ethics of nursing profession? Join and invite thousands of young Nigerian nurses to find answer to the above and that series of media-related troubling questions at the upcoming interactive Career in Media Guidance to Counseling session holding on Sunday, August 9, 2029, time 7 p.m. It's organized by